think there's no reason why we can't do 130, 131 or whatever, but you know, it's hard to make any predictions on lap times right now when the wind's blowing a gale. So yeah, just enjoy ourselves.
Absolutely brilliant. Good luck to you, kid. Cheers, brother.
Still on the front of the grid as we look. John McGuinness get the new showy helmet, the just new design he's got as well. And don't forget, look out for Dean Harrison's bike in the team green as well. He unveiled that bike the other day. It does look rather smart, Lee Johnson, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's absolutely beautiful. And Dean's got a new model showy helmet on as well. I think he said the other day there's only Dean, John, and Mark Marquez of this model of helmet. Yeah, so that shows you the level that you're dealing with here and what the companies think of them. So yeah, bike looks amazing.
2 minutes to go to the start. You're actually biting your nails here.
Yeah, I feel nervous, if I'm honest. I said to John there now, like, it's because I'm looking at them and I know the feeling, and you know, we're all very close, so I know what that feels like inside. Only you know what I mean? It's not like I've retired from racing and I'm old. I knew what this felt like yesterday. It's a good run race and right to the end, a good battle as we haven't seen apart from that super short race and stuff. So hopefully, that'd be good. A good fight right to lap 6.
Well, we're just going to quickly give you the board, and we're going to hand up to Steve Day for the start of this. Damp patches at all the photographers about that. Damp patches at Ramsey Hairpin and Governor's Dip. Look out for that. The course conditions you mentioned about the blustery wind as well. So course conditions, damp patches at Ramsey Hairpin and Governor's Dip. Round about a minute away from the start of the Milwaukee 6th lap senior TT. Steve Day.
Thank you very much, Kinners, and we'll obviously have Chris Kinley and Lee Johnson up here in the commentary box with us for the start of this one. But here we go. After 3 long years of waiting, the senior TT is back. The Milwaukee senior TT, the one that they all want to race in. There is nothing quite like it. Number 1, John McGuinness heads himself over, ready to start this one. Brilliant to see, of course, starting his 100th TT last week in the Superbike race, and now back in the senior, a race he won, of course, in 2015. He's out on the Honda Fireblade, the 30th anniversary colours, beautiful colour scheme. What's McGuinness got in store, of course? He finished in 5th in the Superbike race last week. 47 podiums, 23-time TT winner. John McGuinness is going to kick off the 2022 Milwaukee Senior TT, and off he goes. Next up, we've got the most recent Senior TT winner, 2019 winner Dean Harrison on the Dow Racing Kawasaki 19 TT podiums now for him. And now it's the Batham Ales machine, Michael Rudder on the BMW 18 podiums, 7-time winner. He's off. Next we've got Ian Hutchinson, 20-time podium, 16 wins, and of course 5 in a week in 2010 on the Milwaukee BMW. James Hillier is off next, 14 podiums and 1 win. He's out on the Rich Energy UMG Racing Yamaha. Different firing order this one. Listen to this. Next up is Michael Dunlop, now a 21-time TT winner, won both Supersport races, and of course his last year win 2017. He's off on his Hawk Racing Suzuki. Now we've got Gary Johnson on the Specsavers North Lincolnshire BMW, 6 podiums, 2 wins for Gary. Now it's time for Davey Todd, his 3rd TT on the podium in the Superstocks on the Malenko by Patrick's Honda. There's a gap, of course, at number 9. That's where Dave Johnson would have been on the Yamaha. So we just wait another 10 seconds. And now start the Gas Monkey Garage by FHO Racing BMW. Peter Hickman. He's ready to go, looking to make it 9 wins in TT, the 2018 Senior TT winner. Now we've got Connor Cummins, the Maxman, 11 podiums, his fastest ever lap a few days ago. The Paget's Honda is away. Jamie Cowan is off next on the KTS Yamaha. Podium in the lightweight, of course, a couple of years back. Number 12, he's off. A gap where Lee Johnson would normally be, of course, on his Accord Racing BMW, but he's up with us in the commentary box. Now we see off number 14, Big Phil Crow. Best result, he was 9th in the Superbike. He's off on his hand trans haulage BMW. Sam West is off number 15 on the Street Diner BMW, of course, the crash for him at Laurel Bank last week. But he's racing in the Senior TT, and he's off. Dominic Hudson is off next on that orange Haith BMW. He's had a great week, 4 top 10 so far from the rider from Hexham, number 16, and he's on his way. Then it's Brian McCormack, Big Brian, 6'2" from Ireland, on the FHO Racing BMW and the Roadhouse Macau BMW. Next away, we've got Derek Shields, number 18, 13th in the Superbike 1 week ago. Big Sean Addison is off from Banbridge in Northern Ireland on the Crendon by Hawk Racing Suzuki. Great result for him last week, 9th in the Superbike class. Next up, we've got Craig Neve, number 20, 14th in the Superbikes last week on the Colmax Scaffolding BMW. We'll get a couple more away and then we'll keep our eyes on the screen. Brandon Cretu then, a change in your programme, goes up number 21 from the USA on his TR blade, and now it's number 22. We just heard from him on the grid, Glen Helen, the newcomer, teammate to John McGuinness, fastest ever newcomer in history, Chris Kinley.
Hi, Steve. Yes, made a way up, sprinted up nearly at a race to see who get to the top of the stairs first. Actually, to be fair, I think Lee Johnson up in the commentary box here for the first time. What a view that is at the start of the senior TT.
Yeah, it's all a bit surreal, if I'm completely honest. I've never even been up here before, never mind for the start of senior. So I'm very nervous. I don't know why I feel so nervous, but even just having a last say good luck to Dean and Glenn there off the line, and it's I didn't expect to be feeling this way.
I've already seen Dean Harrison has went through Gorsley, approach to Ballacrane, already catching in on John McGuinness. So Dean catching that time, hand over fist. The leaders will be at Glen Helen any second.
Yeah, they will. Glen Helen then just going around Quarter Bridge on his way now to Braddon. We wait for Dean Harrison then. Will it be Harrison or will it be McGuinness that flashes through Glen Helen first? Here is number 7. We've got eyes on him. Davey Todd is closing in approach to Ballacrane. So one is Smolenko by Padgett's Honda, and we've got the first few two. They're into Glen Helen. Dean Harrison, 9.8 seconds up on John McGuinness into Glen Helen.
Yeah, 4:08, 1:2:19. You've got to look for the fastest split on the outright lap record, 135.452. You won't see this on this lap. No, they might see it the next lap. They go straight to 10 or 11 per lap sector.
Hickman is through Ballacrane. Michael Rutter has just come through Glen Helen. So is Ian Hutchinson. Hutchinson goes into second place.
Just explain that about Peter Hickman.
Full commitment from Peter Hickman there as he comes in to say, obviously the Dunlop tyre not fully up to temperature yet, but yeah, he's putting all his effort into getting them warm straight away.
What sort of temperature are we talking about? Optimum temperature?
They run around about 100 degrees in the blanket, so that's working temperature as well. But he's trying to obviously have to wait for a minute or two on the line, and then it just drops off. But
we've got 6 riders through at Glen Helen. Dean Harrison leads from Davey Todd, number 8. Davey Todd is 1.3 seconds down on Dean Harrison. Michael Dunlop at the moment in third, 1.8 down for the number 6 as we now wait for number 10, Peter Hickman, to flash through Glen Helen.
Yeah, looking at John McGuinness holding 6th at the moment. Number 1 by there we go. Peter Hickman's in half a second, 0.577. Harry number 2 on the Kawasaki. He leads the BMW by half a second, and then it's let's call it just over because of a second back to the Honda. So 3 different manufacturers in the top 3.
Yeah, and Connor Cummins has just gone through as well. Half a second down on Davey Todd. That's just as close as we wanted to see it. Lee, Davey Todd and Connor Cummins, the confidence they come into this with after the Superstock as well.
Yeah, definitely. Like I said earlier, Davey's on a crest at the minute with his confidence, and so is Connor. Lap time the other day in a Superstock by 33.1, I think it was, is absolutely amazing. I think everybody on this island wants Connor Cummins to win a TT, and so do I. I said this coming into the event, so maybe today's today.
And maybe if he wins one, free coffee for a week in coffee on the Ramsey. What do you
I don't think he's that generous.
At the moment then, just to give you an update, Glen Helen, Dean Harrison, half a second up on Peter Hickman. Davey Todd in third, 8/10 down on Hickman. Cummins in fourth, 5/10 down on Davey Todd, with Michael Dunlop 1.2 down on Cummins in 5th place.
Then it's Ian Hutchinson 3 seconds back. Then it's James Hillier in 7th, 1.2 back. Then Dom Curtin. Another great performance for Dom now, number 16. A fair bit of traffic to get through as well, as machines continue to leave about 900ths of a second in 8th. Cow 12 and completing your top 10 at the moment through Glen Helen. A bit laugh shortly is John McGuinness, number 1.
Just seeing Brian McCormack's just flashed through in 11th place as well. Brandon Cretu and Glen Helen on shot. Let's just see how Glen gets through. He's going through Ballarat at the moment. They're not yet flashing through Glen Helen.
No other changes as of yet. Gary Johnson, Gary down in 12th position. Another custom for Gary's at the quiet TT, isn't he?
Yeah, he's been struggling on the big bike so far. Just looking at that footage of Glen Helen, he just looks like the ultimate BSB rider, coming in, the legs dangling and everything. Maybe we will get that out of him once he's had a few more TTs.
Through Ballarat Bridge then, Dean Harrison got caught through ahead of John McGuinness on the road. McGuinness is 16.7 down, but of course, after what we saw at Glen Helen, it's now all eyes on the likes of called Dunlop, Davey Todd, Pete Hickman, Colin Common yet to come through as we get a glimpse of that beautiful down racing Kawasaki of Dean Harrison.
This is really impressive from Dean, because we spoke before the race and he's made some big changes to that motorbike. You know, things that a rider really will feel, and for him to be straight out of the box on the pace bodes really well for this race, because he's only going to get better.
Yeah, it's not like short circuit either, where you can, test your new setup or anything. You're just out there 6 laps. So then, Dean Harrison, Michael Dunlop through Ballarat. Michael Dunlop 5.3 seconds down on Dean Harrison for the time being. He's in second place. Then second, we're going to get Davey Todd, who's passed Gary Johnson on the road and is 1.9 seconds down. So Dean Harrison's made up some time.
Speed trap for Dean Harrison on the Kawasaki, 193.283. Bit of a tail the way that wind is going there. And there's John McGuinness too, 182.557 on the Fireblade. The leaders been making their way through the really bumpy section now. Lead through Ginger Hall, down through Glenduff, etc. that way.
Peter Hickman leads through Ballarat. Peter Hickman then 2.4 seconds up on Dean Harrison through Ballarat. We just wait for Connor Cummins to come through now. He's only 3 tenths down on his teammate.
That's 3 seconds that Hickman has got back on Harrison from Glen Helen to Ballarat Bridge. That's 3 seconds if you add the half back, the 2.5 he's put on there, Lee.
Big jump there from Peter Hickman. You can just see the way the wind just upset the bike a little bit, but full commitment. He is really pushing on here. And like we said before the race, he tries to drop the hammer straight away from the first lap. So for Dean to be in push, if he keep this sort of gap to the end of the first lap and then get the feeling of his bike, we're in for a good race.
Hillier through the speed trap, 190.75. Michael Klopp, 188.82. Ian Hutchinson, 187.04. And Michael Rutt, as we see a replay of Peter Hickman getting a squirrely. I've seen words through there, Lee, from you mainly, and other people too.
Yeah, just clinging on the back of it like an empty tracksuit. It doesn't look like that when I'm on the bike, but yeah, very impressive from Pete on that one.
Just in case you want to know, you're listening around the world and around the course, we've got live feed pictures here in the commentary box. That's what Lee Johnston has currently got his eyes on. We will keep our eyes on how things are going at Ballarat. Then Peter Hickman 2.4 up on Dean Harrison. Davey Todd third, 1.9 down. And it was Cummins in fourth, Dunn in fifth, Hutchie in 6th place, with Herbertson in 7th. Good going from Herbertson. Just a 10th clear of James Hillier.
Going back to Glen Helen, Nathan Harrison, number 10. He is flying as well. He's up the 10th position as he went through Glen Helen, number 28. He's come through Ballarat Bridge as of yet, but he's the highest number in 10th position. That's some going for the young Manxman, isn't it?
Yeah, he's been really impressive, Dean Harrison. It's obviously his debut TT. He's been, sorry for Nathan Harrison. He's been here, of course, for the Manx League, but an impressive display so far over the last couple of months.
Yeah, it's a completely different event, and obviously on the same track, but I can't imagine what it's like for a Manx person to come here with all the friend mates being here and everything. So, yeah, the lad's riding really well, and it shows of all of his course knowledge and stuff like that. So, yeah, look credit to him on the team.
Dean Harrison is at Ramsey Hairpin. John McGuinness has just gone through as well. He's about to round the hairpin, and he's second to number 1. He's 24.2 seconds down on Dean Harrison. So John McGuinness, when we went through Ballarat, was 10th overall in the standings. He's now coming around as a flag to warn them about matches league.
Yeah, it's been like that all the way. It seems to be coming back out of the tarmac. It's not actually to do with the rain. It's the surface water seems to be coming back up. So maybe that's something they can have a look for next year.
And this has all been redone as well, isn't it, over the winter month of the last couple of years anyway. So yeah, they will look at, of course, as you quite rightly say, but always, historically, Ramsey Hairpin was always damp, wasn't it?
Yeah, I don't want to be given any information on tarmac with my accent, so I'm going to keep quiet on that one.
Michael Dunlop has gone through Ramsey Hairpin, 9.3 seconds down on Dean Harris. So Dunlop is through Ramsey.
Hickman to the speed trap, 197.609 and a half an hour quicker than anybody else. Lee Johnson.
Yeah, that BMW certainly has some legs, and Dean's mentioned that all week that his bike's been down on power a little bit, but I think with the tailwind and stuff brought it a bit closer. But we've seen into Ramsey there that I got James Hillier, so if James can just latch on here, he's had a good sort of start to the lap and get towed round at least to the pit stop, then he could be in the mix.
Flames popping out all like repeating around the lead. As it then started in the score.
That's another 1.8 seconds, 1.7 second he's got on him from Balaflu to Ramsey Hairpin. But back to the Nathan Harrison story. We'll keep a little eye on that. He's continuing to be in 10th position at number 28 by only 1.2 seconds back off Jamie Coward. So it is quite tight there for the lower echelons of the leaderboard. Hickman leads by 4. There's Connor Cummins 3.2 back ahead of Davey Todd now. So Connor, the Ramsey man, just gone through his hometown. He is flying. Davey Todd one back by about 5 seconds. Call that. Then it's Ian Hutchinson 6th at the moment, 6 seconds back, and then Jamie Coward. Well, we got to bring in the mix, and of course James Hillier seems to be dropping away a little bit.
Yeah, Jamie Coward has moved up ahead then of James Hillier as we wait for number 16. Is Hayes BMW. Dom Herbert's Dom is going well so far, looking to make it 5 top 10s in the week thus far.
Hope he can get away from that 8th position he always seems to find, doesn't he? He's been finding that quite a bit, his young Dom, as well. Him and Chrissy Rouse have been doing his chase and the race and cast mode out. Have you been on one of them yet, Lee?
Yeah, and I think the ratings went through the roof once I got on. Look at this shot of Dean Harrison.
Wow. That is incredible. Valor cry there from Dean Harrison.
I wish people knew what that felt like. 185, 90 mile an hour, possibly.
Can you tell us without swearing?
No, sorry.
Leaders are on the run up Mountain Mile. It is compared to watching some of the spectators yesterday up there. Just seen it. As I just seen hit, is that Hickey?
Yeah, he's just he clicked 6th gear at that point before that first left kink. So yeah, that little torque and at the same point just lifted the front of the bike.
Number 14, Big Phil Crow just gone through as well. Phil in 13th at the moment. Number 17, Brian McCall in 12th. John Anderson as well on the number 95. Well, he's in just dropped there. That's Dominic Herman up now, only 1.5 seconds off Hutchie.
Yeah, good job from him, of course. They're now over towards the bungalow. Dean Harrison has flashed through there. Now comes John McGuinness as well. This is where things are starting to get a bit windy, Lee.
Yeah, it's. I obviously can't say it because I'm not out there now, but I knew what it felt like yesterday. And like I said, down on the grid, once you get a gauge of which side the wind's coming from, these are for me, is it, aren't they? He's just going into windy corner now, I think. Yeah. So once he gets an indication of which side it's coming from, then for the next so as long as he was full of the road there.
The weight transfer he had to do then to kind of sit the bike to one side to adjust himself for the wind.
So once he's come out of the corner, he's just got on the gas, lifted the front wheel up, and the wind has obviously took that at the same point. So then he's had to roll a little bit just to get the bike to change direction.
Oh.
Michael Dunlop has gone through the bungalow. He's 12.1 seconds down at the moment, but Davey Todd flashes through. 5.9 seconds down. Davey Todd is on Dean Harrison.
I think Davey Todd's getting on the back of someone there as well. No, there's Davey Todd. Hickman's through the lead, extends in 1.7 added onto it. Again, incredible there for Peter Hickman. 5.867 over Dean Harrison. Stamping his mark all over it, but 6th race this is.
Yeah, Connor just comes up the inside of Gary Johnson there into the bungalow. Yeah,
Connor won't be held up. He wasn't held up at all. He was 3.2 back off Dean Harrison as they went through, and the gap is extended for Connor as well. It's 4.9 leads by 5.867 to the bungalow from Harrison. So it's 10 from 2, then it's 11 Cummins, 5 seconds back.
Yeah, just remember, of course, they'll come through to take their second and 6 laps. The Morgie Senior T2 pit stop still to come, of course, in this one where things can change. As on our TV screens, we're looking at a replay of Connor Cummins making this move on Gary Johnson. He made that look easy.
It's really impressive into there because that right-hander, and he's just come into the wind and the ripples in the tarmac there, so it's so easy to lose the front tyre. So yeah, all credit to Connor and his smooth riding style. Just made that look easy.
Leaders on the way to the signpost corner there. Talk us through Hilbury, Lee. What's that like on a flat out at the Superbike? No swearing.
It's so hard because of the undulations in the road. So you get to the first apex, then it dips away to the second apex is on a crest, and then the third one dips away again. So there's a lot of things going on as well as rolling on and off the throttle. So as long as that's pretty sheltered in there today, it shouldn't be too bad.
Through the bungalow, Phil Crow has got Don Hudson right on his tail at the moment. Numbers 14 and 16 as they now exit. Dom Herbertson's trying to find his way through. In the meantime, Mona, Dean Harrison and John McGuinness. It won't be long for those of you in the grandstand to keep your eyes right. The Dow Racing Kawasaki, number 2 of Dean Harrison, will be flying past us on Glen Crutchley Road shortly.
Yeah, Dominic Herbertson has moved up to 6th place now. He's got ahead of Ian Hutchinson. He's 8.9. Let's call that 9 seconds behind Michael Dunlop. This is a great show by Dominic. We knew he was a bit of a character and stuff, but we need characters in the sport. Steve Day.
Yeah, here we go then. We're just waiting for that sound of that humming Kawasaki. Here it comes then. Across the line to complete lap 1 is Dean Harrison as he heads down over St. Ian's Crossroads and down Bray Hill. Lee Johnson, that's the first time you've seen that from the grandstand. Do you dare tell us what you think?
I'm going to stop watching. I think the bike just a big head shake there just before he got to the traffic light. So I don't know if that was a bit of a gust of wind or the bike's just a little bit nervous. But yeah, he's cracking on here, Dean. What was the first lap time? 131?
Yeah, 17 minutes, 14.403, 131 mile an hour from a standing start. That's quite impressive, isn't it?
Number 4. Sorry, guys, here. Number 40, Michael Rowley out at Revet Bridge. And 43, David Jackson's out at the Black Dub.
Oh, that's a shame for Mike Russell with the sidecar and the solo thing going on, wasn't it? Yeah, that's a bit of a shame for Michael there. So 131 for an opener for Hickman. 126.2 for McGuinness, 127.843 for Hutchie. Next bike through.
That's Michael Dunlop.
Yeah, Michael Dunlop, 129.488. The lap time for Harrison, 17 minutes, 14.403. 131.31 from a standing start, but we are waiting, of course, for the man who's through Cockney. He's not far away from us either, Steve. There he is.
Here he is. Peter Hickman comes across the line then and leads by 8.3 seconds. Taking another half an inch. What was the lap time?
17:06.041, 132.381, and the sector time from Cronknamona to Hill. I'll get for you in a second. We'll keep an eye on that, but don't forget, the sector time to beat, if he's wanting to push the lap record, is going to be 4:08.19. So we'll keep an eye on that. We'll get to Glen Helen this time.
And Pete Hickman just making over Aggo's Leap and now down into Quarterbridge. Davey Todd easy to spot on that by Paget's Honda with that pink helmet, and they're just following him on that gorgeous Gas Monkey garage by FHO Racing. BMW, there goes Pete Hickman on his approach now to Bradley. 8.3 seconds the gap then at the grandstand between Pete Hickman and Dean Harrison.
Really good for Davey in this situation now. Pete is probably only 2-3 seconds behind the road, so he's going to get at least a good full lap behind him, and if he can get into the pits, like I said, and out again with him, you know, he's got a really good toe there for maybe possibly even 3 laps if he can hang on.
Oh, big slide at Quarterbridge there for Dean Harrison, Lee.
Yeah, he's definitely laying a bit of extra rubber down there, but oh man, this is so tense watching.
Looking at Jamie Coward's lap time, and the 8th place machine has just gone through. You hit the drone of the R1 going through 127.787. Ian Hutchinson 127.843. Hillier 128.118. Dunlop 129.488. McGuinness 126.285. As we said a little bit earlier on, a couple more times. The speeds to give you: Rutter 125.144. Gaz Johnson 124.357. There's Dom Herbertson through 17 minutes 38.803 for Dom. 6th position 128.284.
He'll have that, Dom Herbertson. If we see the second flag, that would be a fantastic result for Herbertson if he could keep it there. So then we have the leaders through the grandstand. They're going to have a lot of work to do, aren't they? Their work cut out to try and close that 8.3 down on Hickman.
2-wheel drift through Gorsley for Dean Harrison. Lee Johnson.
So impressive. He's absolutely riding the wheels off this Kawasaki today.
Think he struggled with the change of tyres, do you think?
It's really hard to say because he's been on the Metro for so long, so I think it's a bit of a comfort blanket coming back. So I don't know how many laps he did an awesome job in the Supersport race to do that straight away, but it's a bit different on a big bike with changing from threads to slicks. So yeah, hopefully he can just build into this and get cracked on and keep Pete honest at least to the 4th and 5th lap.
We saw, of course, Dean Harrison making his way around Ballacrane onto Ballaspur, Laurel Bank, and he'll come through Glen Helen shortly. So Dean Harrison first on the road as we now get a glimpse of Ian Hutchinson. Hutchie was 8th at the grandstand. He was 2.2 down on Hillier as he goes through Gorsley. 2 riders just together there as well on the road.
Looking at Craig Neve as well, number 20. He's gone well. He's got ahead of Nathan Harrison there as well. Now, so Craig Neve, number 20, through Cronknamona is in 10th position. And well, a lot of good spot there. And the leaders should be going through Glen Helen now.
Dean Harrison is through at Glen Helen. He'll be followed shortly by John McGuinness and co. We can just see Peter Hickman now closing up onto the tail of Davy Todd.
Yeah, just seen there, James has managed to latch on to the back of Michael, so he's come right over the mountain with him. So hopefully now this next lap through, he should have settled in and he can get a good lap time and just get himself up another few spots on the leaderboard.
Just equating that record pace, 4:08.19 is the one we're looking for. Dean Harrison, that's on 4:12.389 to get to Glen Helen. So only 4 seconds off it. So let's see what Hickey does when he gets a. Won't be too far away. All riders going through Glen Helen now, Steve.
Yeah, John McGuinness is through Glen Helen, and we just saw a moment ago Connor Cummins a bit further back on the road has just gone through Ballacrane. Just behind them, we wait at Glen Helen for the third rider on the road to come around here. Lap 2, remember, at the end of this lap, these guys will be coming into pit stop, and we'll maybe see some changes. Here is then on the road through Glen Helen, number 4, Ian Hutchinson, on his Milwaukee BMW. Now we've got Dunlop and Hillier. So Hillier on his Rich Energy MG Racing Yamaha. He's keeping the pins on. Peter Hickman now is coming through right on the tail of Davy Todd as they go through Glen Helen. Peter Hickman is 8.8 seconds clear of Dean Harrison.
Yeah, Stefano Bonetti in there for an early pit stop on lap 1. The Italian former Northwest 200 winner is in there looking like possibly a retirement. We'll keep a little eye on that. Hickman's time out to Glen Helen, 4:11.917. So only 400ths of a second separates him and Dean Harrison on split times there. Connor, a 4:14.86 out there.
Nothing wrong with the speed of that Paget Honda. Took the full slipstream there, not straight for Pete to get past, even on the drive up over the hill. So, yeah, really impressive. It'll be interesting to see now what Davey can do sitting in. It obviously unsettles you a little bit once someone comes past, but if he can sit in now, and he's going to learn a lot here.
Yeah, Davy Todd at Glen Helen was 3.4 seconds down on his teammate Connor Cummins. That's in the battle for third. Here's Dom Herbertson. He just comes through. Is that Gorsa Lee?
Yeah, yeah. And Stefano Bonetti in retirement, so that's a shame for the Italian rider. He's going out to the leaderboard. Then 8.6. Looking at other numbers further down, we talked about Dominic Herbertson. He's going well. He was 6th coming through the grandstand. Craig Neve, confirmed in 10th place. And what a performance by Mike Brown. John Burrows' machine, number 29 machine. Mike Brown up to 11th place. That's a great performance. Who's that in, Steve?
Paul Jordan is 1. I'm just trying to get a number on the other. That's 32 as well. It's
Parrott. That's a shame for the veteran Mark, and he won't mind me calling you that. We are the same age. So, Mark, shame for him retirement. Your good mate, Paul Jordan, with a retirement there, looking like on the Prez Racing R1.
Yeah, it's obviously sad to see anybody pull in after the effort and stuff that goes in for the team. Just trying to see in this footage here if they've managed to hang on to Pete or he's broke the toe straight away, because obviously Pete's not silly. He'll try that little bit extra harder to crack straight away, so he's not getting a free run round, because in the years to come that's how he's going to be racing. So yeah,
the helicopter pictures have just shown Dean Harrison on his Dow Racing Kawasaki, then through Balaf. He is the first rider through Balaf. We'll of course track the lap times and see what we're going to be on for. He will be coming into pit lane, remember, as we remind you. Gap between then Peter Hickman and Dean Harrison was 8.8. Got our eyes fixed on the number 2 machine at the moment, currently in line for another second place this week.
On the big Superbike, Lee Johnson going through Queens, what's it like?
Fast.
Very
so
fast.
you just back to 6th here there on the entry, back to 5th straight away. And then you click 6th just on the exit of this last one now, just to stable a little bit, or maybe depending on you, literally before you get to the last left on the run. But it's quite a lot bumpier this year, so you can see on the data the bike take RPM a lot more than what it does pass. But yeah, it looks like there's no wind or anything there at the jump, because Dean jumped absolutely beautifully and clean there. So yeah, he's on song.
Speaking of Quarry Bends, what Ken has just mentioned, how important is Quarry Bends as well to get that good drive onto the Selby Straight?
Yeah, massive, because there's such a more so on smaller bikes, so much power. But every inch of road and the run through it is the most important thing, because if you're late on the first apex, well then you never get it back, as you can see here by John Guinness. It looks absolutely perfect online.
Dean Harrison the second lap there through 193.674, very similar 4, 6 and 5 against that touchy on here. It's about
Elliott's hung on really well here, so it'll be interesting to see what lap time Michael managed to do. But as that, here comes Davy Todd behind Pete as well, so he's hung on as well. So this is definitely going to drag Davy possibly above Connor, because he's only 2 seconds behind.
Not far, is he? 3 seconds. Michael, isn't he?
Yeah, he's above that He is now, where he's just in the background and he keep getting trying to stay out of everyone's way.
Michael
But
Dunlop's lap time leaves 129 for the lights.
That group as well. So a bit of traffic potentially for Peter Hickman with Davey Todd up behind him as well. That the approach when they get over towards Ramsey Hairpin. We can just see the groups here. Paul and
James, what are you thinking about? Having dinner? Or?
Yeah, I think Tomo's buying the beers. I think.
Yeah,
What do you
look.
think?
So,
Paul, there's another seat up here in the commentary box if you want, mate. But we've got our eyes now on number 28, Nathan Harrison, going really well. Nathan, how do you get on? Is it 13th at Glen Helen? So good job so far from Nathan Harrison.
What about Mike Brown? What about to Mike? He went to cook and that crash that he had to get back and do doing. It's just coming into Ramsey.
unbelievable. I don't know if anyone's seen him in the paddock. The guy can hardly walk. Well, he can't even walk. He's hobbling on both broken ankles. So it's so physical around your feet and the stress going through. How he's doing what he's doing is absolutely unbelievable. And man, the whole John Bowes team that have him out there and doing it.
Here comes Harrison there. He's through Ramsey Hairpin. He's now taking this left-hander. It's still a couple of down patches just down there.
Yeah, it seems to be a lot better than what it was in the first lap, because you see Dean run a little bit wider there, and all week just outside the white line has been the wettest part, and he seemed to run straight over it. So, yeah, full commitment from Dean on that one.
He was 10.1 seconds down on Peter Hickman at Ballaugh on this second lap. At the end of this one, they'll be in to take their pit stops. Connor Cummins at the moment, number 11, is in third. Davey Todd in fourth. Number 8, Dunlop fifth. And then it's Hillier and Herbert sixth and seventh. So Hillier has benefited behind Michael Dunlop. He's overtaken Tom Herbertson at Ballaugh for now, as we wait now for the next group of riders to come through Ramsey. They're all going to be in a big group shortly.
Like it was in the first race, they all got together early doors, didn't he? And then Peter said he just sat behind them a little bit and just kind of followed them around, but he knew he had a gap, so he didn't have to rush past them, because that is the key. You don't want to be held up here. Like Peter's been watching his boards, he'll know exactly what a 10-point lead goes in the middle now. Right.
Pete Hickman then, is he going to make a move? Surely not. He is up the inside of Michael Dunlop into Ramsey Hairpin for Pete Hickman. Unbelievable stuff from him. He's 2 seconds clear of Dean Harrison with Pete in third, and Michael Dunlop in fourth place overall. 51 has retired up the return lane. I can tell you the 51 is Tennessee Mono. And let's just quickly go down to Beth. She's with Mark Parrott, who had to retire.
Yeah, Mark, what happened?
It's really windy out there, and the last 20 years are coming. The last recent 10, 15 years is the windiest I'll ever know it. And you've got places like you're going by gateways and fairs and that. The front come up in the across. So, the wind has not just bringing the market.
Okay, thanks, Mark.
Thank you very much, Beth. Thanks to Mark Parrott. You can relate with that, Lee?
Yeah, obviously he's a very, very seen as Chris called him. Nothing to prove to anyone. He's come here to enjoy his motorbike, and he's not enjoying it in the wind, so why be out there? It's a very, very sensible move.
Chris Kinley is, for the time being, left our commentary box ready for pit stops. That's his first run downstairs. He'll be back up with us, of course, at the end of the pit stops. There's stuff going on here from Kinners. Number 17 is out at Ballaugh. That's Brian McCormack, unfortunately. And we are 133.3 miles per hour pace to Ramsey at the moment. That's where we're looking. There's a group of riders all in a row as we're heading up towards the bungalow now, led by Peter Hickman.
Yeah, he stretched probably 20-30 bike lengths just out in mile there, well up by the Ramsey to start off with, but absolute commitment onto the mountain mile, throwing the blue air fence on the way onto there to absolutely maximise the speed. But the most impressive thing here is James Hillier is hanging on to the back of Michael Dunlop, so this is looking really good for James. He just wanted to build into the race, and he get his confidence back, and it looks like he's doing that. So to be sitting in behind Michael Dunlop is no mean feat in any class.
Through the bungalow then on this second lap is Dean Harrison on the Dow Racing Kawasaki with 10.2 down on him. He's obviously, by nature of his starting order, been having quite a lonely time here around this course so far over the last week, the number 2.
Yes. It's quite extreme that in a sense, because Pete's got all these carrots in front of him. Not that he needs any of them to sort of drive him forward, but it's always a lot more enjoyable when you have something and have a you get it all brings confidence. But yeah, Dean's been here long enough, and he's got enough experience to know what he's doing, and just he's in an absolute zone and rhythm and riding back to its maximum potential. So yeah, he's still only 10.2. Anything can happen in this first pit stop or the second pit stop. So yeah, it's all looking for a close race.
He's been getting a reminder, of course, the 2 come in for fuel. Dean Harrison, he mentioned on Twitter this morning that he'd like a pit board out there. So if you're readying one, just before he comes into Cronknamona at Brandy, he was 0.2 seconds down on Peter Hickman in second place. Through the bungalow goes John McGuinness. We know how strong Peter Hickman is through this part of the course as he now flashes through as well. Let's see what the gap is at the bungalow. Peter Hickman leads by 12.6 seconds. He's extended that gap again. What is it about Peter Hickman on there? He must have had at some point over this week a chance to sit behind him at all on the mountain. I mean, what is it what's the difference between Hickman and the rest around here?
I think a lot of breeds I quite like. I'm not putting myself in the same bracket as Peter Hickman at all, but I really enjoy the mountain as well, because you seem to ride a lot more like a short circuit, maybe like the Northwest, and Pete's level of short circuit experience then breeds the confidence up there. Plus he's a big lad and he's good at changing direction, like you've seen under the mountain mile and stuff there. That the last X just wrestles the way through it. Maybe others can't do that. So yeah, it's a lot of 2% that makes up the 10, and that's the difference. He's just gained 2 seconds there in that section.
This is what it looks like then before they make their way in Ramona. Peter Hickman is 12.6 up on Dean Harrison. Connor Cummins is third. He's 13 seconds down on Dean Harrison. Davey Todd is fourth, 2 seconds down on Connor Cummins. Beth is down with Paul Jordan.
Paul, what went wrong?
I just got up this morning, just feeling a bit under the weather, and I just wasn't willing to take the risk up there this afternoon, this morning. So yeah, I just thought I'd call it a day.
So you made the decision at what point?
Just when I was coming out of the nuke, I just said myself, and just to say I'm not feeling great, so I can come back next year.
Okay, thanks for talking to us, Paul.
Yeah, thanks very much, Paul. It's a cracking week for Paul, of course. He was on the podium in the Super Twins. It's a long race there, 6 laps. Cronknamona then, Dean Harrison is through. Shortly, you'll hear the siren, those of you here in the grandstand, and then we'll be handing down to Kinners. At the moment, then, Peter Hickman was 12.6 seconds ahead of Dean Harrison. Cummins in third. This is at the bungalow. Davey in fourth. Michael Dunlop in 5th place. The yellow flag was briefly shown at Quarry Bends. Ducks reported to be crossing the road. They crossed safely, I could tell you, and are continuing on their journey. The yellow flag has been withdrawn. We'll want the siren then to come in. Here it goes. It's time to hand down to you, Chris Kinley.
Yeah, the klaxon go up here, the helicopter overhead, and he's gone through Cronknamona. Dean Harrison, the first man in for the pit stop in this Milwaukee Senior TT. Let's give you his lap. Well, Steve, you'll have his lap. I've got it. 131.22 for Dino. 10.397 is his lap. Cronknamona, Peter Hickman is through Cronknamona as well. So yeah, good stuff from Hickey. He's through there. Davey Todd's through. Michael Dunlop's through. James Hillier's through. And John Guinness is through. The screen getting clean on Dean's machine. Quite casually there, just taking a drink. Just hands the water bottle over to his teammate. That fuel goes in. We'll give you the time that they have on the pit stop. So the time as you go into the pits and then out of the pits, there's a little sensor at the bottom, or the little transponder that'll give us the time straight away. Normally about 58 seconds, roughly it was, I think, back to the Superbike race the other day. More riders be coming in them, but Dean goes here. Yep, fires up the Dow Kawasaki, and he's away. Hear the klaxon go once more. Here we go. Going to be a few machines coming in with people cross over there. So who's going to be the next rider in? We'll just take a little sneaky look. Don't want to get in the way of the camera team. Oh, big wheelie. I think there was for Dean on the way, but it's number 1, McGuinness, who's in next. So number 1, then it's 10, Hickman. So Hickman's across the line again. Hickman, 132.627, 1704.136. Michael Dunlop, number 6. Number 8, Cardin. And number 5, James Hillier. Where are all their pits? Oh, he's missed it. Hillier's missed his stop. Oh, yeah, Davey Todd on the inside, so he's got to go backwards. So that is a bit of a shame for James Hillier. James Hillier just had Davey Todd on the inside, so we couldn't turn in. Davey was to the right because he's got to get to his pit as well. So let's give you the gap. 14.6 is the gap between Peter Hickman and Dean Harrison. That is 14.5 back to Davey Todd, but we're waiting for Connor. And here is Connor now into the old Scott box, and he's right at the top. Ian Hutchinson's in. And we've got John McGuinness just struggling to get the 5-lane going, but there we go. Connor Cummins slots into third, 13.5 seconds back of Dean Harrison. 17 minutes, 18.9 for Connor, 130.73. Let's be the pit times for you. Harrison, 57.1. Beg your pardon, 53.8. Peter Hickman, 57.1. John McGuinness, 53.7. And then we've got there Davey Todd, 56.5. Hudson, 51.75. And James Hillier with a massive shake of the head on the Rich Energy machine as he leaves as well. So just to recap then, into the pits, it will all change, I'm sure, at Glen Helen as Michael Rutter and Connor's in. Nice and casual as always. Never see nice and chill, just stretches that body, gives a bit of a twist to the left and twist to the right just to settle himself back in again. And let's give you his pit time as well for Connor. Another bike coming in is 12, Jamie Coward. So what was Connor's time? Well, 56.8. Very, very similar for the two Malenko pass guys. So Hickman leads, 14.6 from Harrison. Then it's 13.5 back to Connor, 11. Then there's 8, Davey Todd, 1 second back off Connor into the pit stops. There's Michael Lallot, number 6 and 5th, 18.5 back. Oh, Michael Rutter just having a few problems there with the bike. I can hear raised voices. They're going to have to put the stand back into Michael. So Michael losing a lot of time as Gaz Johnson comes in, number 7, and also Dominic Herbertson. And where does Dominic slot into? Dominic slot in 7th. So let's have a look at Dominic's lap this time. 17 minutes 44.328, 127.619. He was actually quicker on his first lap, Steve. I said, well, look how tight it is here between Gary Johnson and Dominic Herbertson. There's probably, he could just about get me through there. It's tiny gap between Dominic and Gaz Johnson. Rear wheel change for Dom as Jamie Coward leaves. Jamie 9th at the moment, Phil Cohen, number 14. He's 10th, lead me too far off. Hell, Michael Rutter having a few problems still in the pits. Along with Michael. Dominic Herbertson's team will have the ratchet gun on. Listen. Oh, just struggle. There he goes, just struggling to get that on there. And there's Rutter away. A lot of time lost for Michael. That's a shame for Michael. Number 7, Gaz Johnson, has gone out now, so he's not going to hold Dominic up too much. Let's give you Rutter's time. Rutter in the pits. That's a load of time. 3.3, Steve.
Yeah, thank you very much. I can tell you, thanks to Chris Boyd, thank you so much, Boydie, back at home. Hickman lost 3.2 seconds in the pits. The lead should be around 11.5. Hickman over Harrison. Connor lost 3 seconds to Harrison. The gap 16.5 from second to third. Hillier lost 15 seconds in pit lane. Can also tell you that whilst Dean Harrison was in the pits, Dean Harrison hit a bird. He's got a cracked screen. No of that particular. We can tell you that will cross. Dean Harrison's got that to deal with. They'll be coming through Glen Helen any minute. McGuinness as well, 65 through pit lane. That will be a 30-second penalty added on to number 1, John McGuinness, when he comes through. As riders, of course, continue to come into pit lane. You can see Shea, got Southwest in as well. Keeping our eyes out on the road at the moment. John McGuinness is just trying to tail Peter Hickman. Not a bad person to get a reference from at this moment. Through Glen Helen is Dean Harrison then. From pit lane to Glen Helen, we've got Dean Harrison through. Peter Hickman will be, of course, one to watch for in just a second. Gutting for a couple of riders there, particularly James Hillier.
Yeah, James was going to get off the back of Michael, and all that's just been done away by the pit crew. I don't know if they didn't see him or he didn't see them or what happened. So yes, so frustrating for James because he was having a really good run there, but maybe he could just build on that confidence he got from being behind Michael and then get cracked on again now and get back on the back of him.
Kinners is back. He's taken on board some water on not fair old climb up those stairs, and he's got to do it all over again in a minute. He's getting a bit of a massage here from Alex up in the box as well, and we'll be good to go shortly. But we have got Glen Helen then. Dean Harrison is through Glen Helen. A total time at the moment from the grandstand to Glen Helen, including lap 1, 39 minutes, 35 seconds, .371.
Got to stuff Michael Rutter there in that pit. 2, 3 in the pits. There's something obviously wrong. electronic stuff. Steve?
Yeah, the gap's come down then, as we expected. He has lost time, Pete Hickman, in the pits, and he's lost a bit of time from the grandstand to Glen Helen as well. 10.4 seconds the lead for Peter Hickman over Dean Harrison, with Dave Todd 18.2 down on Harrison.
Do you know what? I've got an image of Chris Boyd sat in his office home with paper everywhere and laptop everywhere and stuff. Boydie, top man, brilliant stuff. Hickman's through. Michael Dunlop went to have a little sneaky look up at seriously on the inside of Ian Hutchinson. That's not going to happen as he climb up to Lamfell and onto Cronkabody. How difficult is the change of direction at the top of Lamfell to get the bike squared and steady, ready for Cronkabody?
Yeah, massive. Obviously, on these big bikes, you sort of short shift a little bit just to try and stable the bike to get it up onto the point. Nothing like what you do on a 600. In the what you guys were about Dean Screen, it's interesting to see is it actually broke. How bad is it? Has anyone got any footage? Or because that's a massive problem around here. He's got still 4 more laps to do with that there. So if it is cracked properly and it does integrate, that's going to be a long race for Dean.
Next time we'll get a close up on him is when he comes either into Bath or into Ramsey Hairpin as he dodges it. Hey, what happens at the end? James, you have to look at him. Who are you talking about? There's I've not seen it happen.
That if you look down at the pictures, the footage, everybody's got a bad album, so it's so hard to tell the difference. You know what I mean? I seen a good thing there. Gaz's guys had a little board out, but then that's another thing to try and get out of the way before the pit crew comes. But you see Nathan Harrison coming in the shot here. Really well turned out bike team. They've been doing British Championship. He's been going so well. Superstar. Brought that here, so he's running in 12th place at the minute. It's a really good ride by him.
Yeah, my and number 20 said Sean Anderson there's all in the top 40. Craig still gone pretty well on the number of your machine.
Number 21, Kritu, has unfortunately died in the pits. Unfortunately, the American, he was looking for a top 20 here today. So Harrison is through Balaf. We've still not got a shot of him here in the commentary box yet. A close-up to see what's going on with the screen. The gap between Hickman and Harrison at Glen Helen was 10.4. It was Todd who about to up on Connor Cummins.
I think Michael Dunlop's not going to be happy with the fact that he's 30 behind Connor Cummins, Steve Johnson. Is he that? I think he's had a obviously the North he got it just beforehand as well. Oh, just
it's a big hole in the screen there of Dean Harrison's motorcycle.
How's that going to affect him, Lee?
Massively. You can't even what a screen does to your head. And I think, yeah, Dean was just the type of person to crack on. Do you know what I mean? He's got attitude where he'd probably still ride around with the front fairing miss and never mind the screen. But yeah, it's frustrating because we don't know. This might have happened 3 miles into the first lap. Nobody knows, and this could be what's cost him the race. So very frustrating for Dean.
In all my years doing this as well, it's the first time I've heard things say you'll begin to get pit lane speed. That's the first time I've ever heard one of those.
Yeah, how difficult is that, Lee? With the lane, just in terms of coming in and exiting.
Yeah, it's not. Sometimes, so you can get that from actually the team's fault. So that the pit lane limiter on John's bike might be set wrong. I'm not saying this is the reason or anything. It might be John's fault, but sometimes they could have made gearing change and not change that in the electronics of the motorbike. So you can go up 4 kilometers just by having the gearing change. So that could actually be what's happened, but it could also be John's fault for getting the style on the throttle.
Here on the last lap, 199.786. That was on lap 2 as he went through to come back round for the 199.19. Yeah, 199 time. 199. That's
seriously,
coming down.
Yeah, the gap has just come down slightly. Hole in the screen or not, Dean Harrison has cut that gap at Balaf. To Peter Hickman, it's 9.8 seconds now, the difference. Also, Davey Todd in third. He's 18.9 seconds down on Dino. Connor Cummins is now 2.1 seconds behind Davey Todd in the battle for third. Michael Dunlop now 33 seconds down on Connor Cummins in fifth. Hillier for the time is sixth, but Glen Helen, he was just below Ian Hutchinson. We just heard, of course, Brandon Cretu unfortunately retired from the race. Let's go down to Beth.
Brandon, huge disappointment. What happened?
The second lap, it just started cutting out in 5th and 6th and body sections. It would just I'd on the gas, it would just fall, and it just wasn't safe, for guys coming up to me. But first lap felt really good. Glenn Irwin started right behind me, and he didn't catch me until Kirk Michael, and he gave me a thumbs up going into Kirk Michael, so I was pretty stoked about that. But yeah, the first lap was fun, and then it just started doing that, and just with everything going on the week, just It's not, just wasn't feeling it with that happening. It just pulled in.
I just say, Brandon, thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much, Beth. Through Ramsey, then Dean Harrison comes through. We'll obviously get you an update on maybe the top 20 in a minute when we can get a break. Josh Daly, unfortunately, is a retirement in the pits
They are.
as
Look
well.
at the screen there now. Massive hole on his right-hand side there, just right at the top of the screen. They are able to see now. You guys on the TV, look at that. He's got the there. It's still there. A bit of plastic still there.
I reckon an ostrich, not a bird. That is absolutely massive, and that's going to make a really big. That could end up coming off completely because it's split right down the middle. So,
is there anything that they can actually do about that at all without costing them huge amounts of time?
No, in his position in the race, he'll lose far more time in the pits by trying to change the screen, and it's not like Formula 1 where they can change in the same time. Little bolts in it, and it would take at least 10-15 minutes. You know what I mean? It's probably the most fiddly screws on the part of the bodywork. So yeah, massive frustration that day.
And you need to see through it, so you can't hook up, can you?
No.
Can get cleared. That team, it is available.
You can get other brands also.
Yes, thank you very much. Yeah, thank you.
Tick that box. Thanks very much, Lee Johnston. Here is Peter Hickman then coming through Ramsey. He's 11.3 up. He's reinstated his gap. He's increased his advantage over Dean Harrison then as he now rounds Ramsey Hairpin.
A lot of people have machine issues today, aren't they? We'll say before we start the race, could be a bit about race. Dave comes up for his start. See Dave getting a start today. Get it all down, struggling for gears there, did it seem, Lee?
Yeah, he clicked the gear lever and it was almost as if it pushed back and he felt like it hit a false neutral, but I don't know. Davey's obviously well in tune with his machine, so he did have a good look down, but this is probably the best battle right now between both Paget riders, Davey and Connor.
Yeah, Connor's gone through. Connor's gone back to third, by the way, so maybe a little bit of a problem. Davey got Connor's 22.4 back. He managed to get this time 2.1. Then we had 4 on that, 2.6 seconds back on Davey Todd, and he leads Davey Todd up to third for Connor by half a second. Steve,
45 Dean's unfortunately out of the race. Unfortunately, the Frenchman then is another retirement out of this senior TT race.
Just seen Con coming up on the back of James Hillier there into Ramsey as well, so this could be the chance for James to get another good latch on, and Connor's pace is really good at it, so, and he's probably one of the best people in this island, so if James can get hooked in here and get cracked on.
Dave Houston then with a 30-second penalty for speed in pit lane, who's just left at number 55. Peter Hickman then 11.3 up on Dean Harrison. Todd at 3rd and 4th, Dunlop 5th. James, for the time being, is in 6th ahead of Hutchinson. At Belaf, Dom Herbertson still in 8th place ahead of Jimmy Coward. Remember, out on his Superstock bike, Craig Neve was in 10th at Belaf. That's a good job from the number 20.
Yeah, Craig's always shown well. He's a big lad and he suits the big bike. He was out in the 600 the other day and it kind of looked like he was just sat on a little bit of again said, there he is, Nathan Harrison. That's the one I was looking for. Nathan, number 28. He's got up to 11th. 5.3 back off even 10th. 1 in 12th. This is back to the lap, by the way, and the 19th on Suzuki, the Hawk Suzuki in the 13th position.
Dean Harrison next, it's the bungalow. He's through there right now. He's now going to get through all of the gears up to 6 on the approach to the highest point on the course. Randy Well looking at a relay where this pride, John McGuinness and Davey Todd.
You see what's created that is actually the slipstream draft off the back of John's bike, so it blew Davey's bike to one side. If he was directly behind him, that wouldn't have happened, but because he's off, it's just sucked his bike to one side. So
he's in the vortex.
Oh, really impressive shot that is, and they're obviously really good friends. So Davey will be giving him a little lap on the way past.
So there, shortly, through Randy. time 14.277 at the moment for Dean Harris. The gap was 11.3 last time out at the Ramsey Hairpin.
Yeah, looking at this back to the pit stops, 53.8 for Harrison, 57.1 for Hickey. Connor Cummins' team, well, the Paget's team, 56.8, 56.5. Michael Dunlop, 103.5. Hutchie's team, 51.5. That's about the quickest. They were the quickest in the first race at 4.7 seconds.
Big Maskinson, unfortunately, Barry has stopped. That's even bungalow 15-point track out of big out of Dean Harrison.
Just looking back at on the race weekend was a quick 51 seconds, but everyone else about 56, 58 seconds.
Just see here, I think that's Dean Harrison just going through Craig right now. So we're going to wind it down from Craig Bar. He'll head over to Brandish. Awesome corner, Brandish, looks like Lee Johnston.
I love the fact that you know more names of corners than I've been coming here for years and years. It's still really, really impressive. So I'm sorry to anyone listening that thinks I don't know where I'm going because I don't know the names of the corners. But yeah, that's probably one of the fastest down there on the Superbikes, one of the fastest points of the track because it's obviously downhill and you're absolutely topped out in 6th gear before going into the fast left, which is called...
Where?
Well, this is
Where
bad.
are you?
Coming down from the Craig.
Oh, right.
Yeah, it's Brandish.
Yeah, that one.
Don't forget, Brandish was changed a few years ago. Instead of mental, then Brandish was quite a few years ago. Don't forget, it used to be a lot tighter than that. Wasn't as fast as what it was. Look on old video. Search it up and have a little look at it. Mick Grant was clocked down from the Craig down to Brandish many moons ago at about 215 an hour. On one of those old Kawasaki's.
I thought you were going to tell me it was a right and not a left.
No, well, it might have been. Yeah, well, you look at old footage. That corner was a lot slower than what it is now.
Lee Johnston, you're making me sound clever. I'm going to buy you a beer at Knockhill, mate, next week. Dean Harrison at the moment has gone through Crockmana. So he'll be past us in a second to complete the lap. So we're just at the halfway point. Governor's dip right now.
Explain that for us, Lee, into what Dean's going to there. It goes completely dark, doesn't it, basically?
Yeah, completely dark. It's probably still wet right now. If it doesn't rain for 2 or 3 days, it's still wet, and you just come out of the darkness into this light, and all of a sudden you've completed another lap of the Isle of Man. As we watch him come past here.
There goes Harrison.
So more stable than it was on last through. So yeah, I don't know whether it's just with the fuel load or whatever. The winds changed a little bit, but it took no head shake on that one, and he looked proper smooth.
Maybe the hole in the screen is a new design that Dow Kawasaki have got to keep the light pushed down. 124.954. That does it with the pit stop. Course 18 minutes 07 0-2. What for Dean Harrison on the Dow Kawasaki ZX10R 124.954.
We're just going to wait now for Peter Hickman. He'll be next over the line here at the grandstand at Crockmana. He was 17.8 seconds up with Davey Todd in third for the time being, but still Connor Cummins hasn't flashed through there. So it's going to be eyes right. That Gas Monkey Garage by FHO Racing BMW far past us. He's out. Just waiting for him on the approach now to Governor's Dip and Glen Crutchery Road.
Looking at he's through Crockmana. Michael Dunn there says this is Hickman through now, on the road. Oh, 18.6. So he's pulled another 800ths of a second back there across from Dean Harrison there. Waiting next. There's a big Scutch going to be coming. We taught you this tonight. Scutch is a big group of people, Stephen Manx speak, yeah? So a big group of riders is going to be coming through just to translate into the English for you.
There's a shake of the head here from Lee Johnston as well. He's in my camp here. Over Aggo's Leap then for Peter Hickman on the approach to Corbridge Road. That's your leader, 18.6. Davey Todd has just gone past us here in the grandstand, 22.233. Down on Harrison, across the line for John McInnes. Fourth on the road at the moment, of course. He's got a 30-second penalty coming his way.
121.31, John. 124.0 for Davey Todd. Dean Harrison, as we said, 124.9. Hickman, 125.42. Michael Dunlop, 121.59. But don't forget, these times do include that pit stop. And you heard that droning machine. That's James only 120.77.
Yeah, Connor Cummins and Davey Todd. This Padgett battle for the final podium place at the moment is still on. 0.8 of a second in favour of Connor Cummins at the moment.
How can it be that short after all these miles? 3 laps is incredible, Lee, isn't it? How you get all these tenths of a second. Go back to the Super Twin race of the day, half a second or 0.8 down. Incredible, isn't it?
Yeah, and this is why everybody watches. This is the race we want to see. This is the race I want to be part of. And when you're looking at your pit board and you think, oh, I've gone through that section well, and you're 0.2 down or up, it's that's where all the mental capacity comes into it. But knowing Connor's attitude and stuff, he'll just be cruising around here thinking, we'll keep all our eggs in the basket for the last 2 laps. So yeah, let's see how this one plays out. It's so interesting for the whole Padgett team to be having both riders in the chance of being on the podium again after obviously the Superstock race.
And keep Clive smiling, which is good. Glen Helen to the speed trap lap, 391.91 miles an hour. Connor Cummins 190.269 and Craig Neve 186.3. But Hickman fastest on lap 2, or just under 200 mile an hour. 207, I think, is the fastest speed trap time. I think Bruce Anstey might hold that. I think, I don't know, I've got that in my head. Or was that the Northwest 200? There's so much in there, Lee. I don't know sometimes. So waiting for more riders to come through as we follow the leader around. The leaders won't be too far away now through Glen Helen. Now this is a flyer time, so 4:08. We're going to keep a little eye on this time. 4:08.19. The rider across the grand good slong visually at the moment to 8th place, 18 second back off Ian Hutchinson as Dino comes through Gorsley once again. Terrifying corner that. Look at the rubber he's leaving down on the exit.
Big, just really, really fast corner. And obviously, it's a late apex on the second part of the curve, so you commit to that corner before you can see the apex. So yeah, that one comes with a bit of knowledge.
I think Milky put it in. There's a few corners on this course that this circuit you have to get correct. It's commitment.
Yeah, about the way Milky explains it, all the times up on corners and the slow corners look after themselves. So.
Yeah. Dominic Herbertson just through Steve, sorry, in 8th position.
Yeah, good job from Dom. He's on for another 8th, though, isn't he, at the moment? Peter Hickman then breaks down into Balacrane, number 10 on his Gas Monkey Garage BMW. Dean Harrison is through the sector at Glen Helen. How are we looking in terms of lap speed? We'll find out in just a second.
Yeah, 4:14.212 the lap record. The lap record pace is a 4:08.19. So that's about the same as what they did, just a little bit under what they did on the first lap, about 10 seconds off. So they're about 6 bit at the moment.
We'll just wait then for Peter Hickman to come through. Is he going to extend that advantage once again? 18.6. We can hear the pit lane sign here going on. It looks like Michael Rutter's just coming into pit lane.
Oh, that's a shame for Michael, that 2-minute pit stop that he had. I think a TT to forget for Michael. And yes, good colour scheme and stuff and everything, but just not seem to have the rub of the green this week at all. As Michael is a pit lane, the pit klaxon goes again. It's going to Gaz Johnson. So yeah, 2 TT stalwarts, you'll have to say, Lee Michael and Gaz possibly going to be out of the race.
Yeah, I think Gaz has maybe got a year or two less than Michael, but they're pretty close in age as well. But yeah, how good was that BFM's BMW look? And I don't know if it's anything to do with the struggle getting the back wheel and stuff in, just that's what took so long in the pit stop. But yeah, they seem to be looking down at the motor and stuff now, so maybe it's maybe the BMW's had enough.
Peter Hickman is through Glen Helen as you would expect. As is fast through. It's pretty much the same gap. 18.6 seconds then split Peter Hickman and Dean Harrison. Davey Todd, number 8 on the Paget Honda, has just gone through 3rd for the time being. 24.1 seconds down on Dean Harrison. It's that gap between him and Connor Cummins. We want to see it was 0.8 of a second in favour of Connor last time out.
11th place to the grandstand. Glenn is 0.4 off Craig who's in 10th place. So Glenn going well again on the big superbike. Just watching Davey come there, watch rear tyre wiggling around a little bit. A bit of a head shake there as well, Lee.
Really brave corner here, but I don't know the name of it.
The 11th.
The 11th, yeah. So that's another one of the fast ones.
And that's where, of course, Nico Sweeney fell off earlier on this week. So, yep. Steve.
Connor Cummins then went through Glen Helen, half a second up on Davey Todd now in the battle for 3rd. Let's go down to Mark Miller. He's with Mike Rutter.
Michael, you're in early. What happened?
It's just on the practice lap. It didn't feel that quick, and it was just slow. It was no interest in me. And when you're not really on it, and the wind's blowing you around, it's horrible out there. It is. It's gusty, and yeah, it wasn't no ideal, and wasn't no fun. So, you know, I think the guy very mistaken. So.
You're not the only rider that's actually called it quits due to the wind today. Is it pretty gnarly? Or?
It is. It is gusty. It's, you know, like if when you're really on it, it doesn't seem to affect you. It's when you start thinking about it a bit more and lifting it up. But yeah, it's in the best conditions.
Glad you're back, dude.
Cheers, mate.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mark Miller and Michael Rutter there then. So at Glen Helen, Hickman, 18.6 up, but through Bath already then is Dean Harrison. Looking away, of course, with that whole front screen on his Dow Racing Kawasaki. Now Peter Hickman in control of the Milwaukee senior team.
I'm going to take a closer look up to Dean Harrison's bike and try and graphically explain how big it is. It looks about the size of a fist to be how big your hands are. If you've got big hands like Brian McCormack, it'll be like half his fist, but me and you about the similar sort of size hands. Our sort of little guy hands.
Yeah, I think it's seen a decent set curve, which is not ideal, and you don't know if that maybe even went onto his tear off and smeared his tear off or did anything like that. So yeah, until we get a good chat with Dean after the race, we're not going to actually know, are we?
Well, Paul Jordan knows all about hitting 170, 180 mile an hour, doesn't he? There's been a bit of wildlife scaring going on, Steve, this week, hasn't there?
There really has, hasn't there? Yes. Luckily, we haven't had any penalties into the course. Just you never know. I know you do. Yeah, I know. Yeah. Well, stranger things have happened. Peter Hickman is through Balaf, and he's 18.3 seconds up now. Then, so Dean Harrison by just a couple of tenths of a second has closed that gap down to Peter Hickman.
Yeah, just having a little look back at the Glen Helen split. I think it was four something, and it was either about 200ths back on him there. But like you said, in the lower part of the section, that's where Dino seems to catch it up again. As soon as he gets past Ramsey Hairpin, he goes full gas and he's away. Hickey, that is.
Yeah, absolutely. This is where Peter Hickman really does his business, isn't it? We're now just seeing David through the lap. He's in third for the time being, 24.6. And then there's going to be a group of riders, quite quick succession, get through the lap. So keep your eyes out if you stood over there, because we've got maybe 2 or 3 bikes on the road that are all coming together. In fact, here comes the first. Here's Davey Todd, 24.6 seconds down on Dean Harrison.
Would you rather be on your own lead, or would you rather have if you knew someone quick behind him, something like that?
Depends on the move, honest, but yeah, if you're feeling confident, you want to be on your own. If you're a little bit down or off confidence, having a rough week, and it can get a little bit of a toe down, and it's a little bit easier.
Just saw Gary Johnson retire, better than down there.
Gary, hugely disappointed. What happened just now?
Yeah, just a little bit on the big bike. Yeah, we haven't got it quite right, but the bike's nice. But every time I accelerate, I'm getting slight wheelies in this wind. It's catching the front end and it's moving it. I don't know if the lads round at Kurt Michael got a bit of a scare. I dropped it into Douglas Road corner. Bike turned and I accelerated through the first king. Front end came up and nearly completely washed from under me. I'm in like 5th gear, and I went. That was just one of a few moments, and I just went, it's not my day, is it?
Well, glad you're safe home, but looking forward to next year, maybe?
Yeah, definitely. Lovely place. Ireland, one of the places in the world when the sun's shining and the facts are cracked. I just thought, just to have a little bit more. I thought my bikes were good, and they are good, but they're just not working for me this year, and it makes it a hard place to get around fast.
Thanks so much for talking to us, Gary.
Just watching Dean, sorry, Steve, going through Cruikshank's corner there, just had to come out of May Hill. That's so bumpy on the entrance there with Dean Harrison. Just watching the rear of that Dow Kawasaki just fighting on the way in there, Lee.
Yeah, there's two big bumps right as you grab the brake, so you sort of have to feed it off, and then back in before you get to the apex, it's sort of flat out on the stand up, sets the bike again. So yeah, it's so easy to lose the front in there. But then obviously once you get over that crest, there's probably the most beautiful bit of tarmac on the whole island for the next 2 corners.
Dean Harrison then is through the Ramsey Hairpin onto the waterworks now for him. Keep your eyes out on the road, because you've got 4 riders all bunched up together. Number 1, John McGuinness. We've got out as well. Number 11, looking close, Connor Collins and James Hill, MD. Michael Dunlop was in that group as well.
Just look at Connor Collins. He's extended that lead. He tied this up to 1.2 seconds now. Michael Dunlop, 47 seconds back to place, as you said. But again, we've got to applaud the performance of Doug Herberson. The leaders on the road is, of course, Harrison, Ramsey Hairpin, 16.3, but it's gone up in 17.934, so it's gone up by 1. Sorry, down a second now.
Oh, that's good news then for Peter. And then 17.9. It is for Dean Harrison that he's down on Peter Hickman. So then, we're on lap 4. Remember, they're in for another pit stop at the end of this one as well. We've got our eyes on the Coward right now, number 12 at the moment in 9th place. 31 seconds up on McGuinness. He's going through Quarry Bends. Peter Hickman then 17.9 up on Dean Harrison. Davey Todd's just through Ramsey Hairpin as we speak on the Malenko by Paget's Honda. On to the waterworks for him, 24.9 down. And then we should see the group of 4 riders all pretty close together. We wait for them now to come up towards Ramsey. They look like they were close together a moment ago. Connor Cummins, in fact, has got through on them. So Connor Cummins comes through. He's now 1.4 seconds ahead of Davey Todd, his teammate. He's 23.5 down on Dean Harrison. Just behind him, now coming into Ramsey, Michael Dunlop, number 6, John McGuinness, number 1, and James Hillier, number 5. Hopefully James now, it looks like he's starting to pick up the pace again. He's closing that gap down to Michael Dunlop in the battle for 5th lead.
Yeah, like I said, he's closed the gap in massively on after the bad pit stop. He's brought Connor, has sort of towed him along, and he's back onto Michael again. So if he could maybe get back past Michael here and he'd be back up into 5th position, which would be a really good result for James after a tough week.
Dean Harrison, of course, then he's made his way onto the mountain mile. He'll then get through the veranda and on towards the bungalow. That will come through shortly. We're just watching the replay at Balacry of that hole in the screen. Is it getting worse there, Lee?
It's definitely not getting any better. I know that much. It's holding on, to be honest. I thought it would have probably split. So whoever Dean's screen sponsor is there, they'll be getting a bit of credit out of this one for holding on without having a massive hole like that in it. But look at these shots of just going over the mountain mile now. I can't quite see who we're following. Is it Pete?
I think that might be Dean. Or is it? No, it's Peter.
Pete, yeah, Peter Hickman. So yeah, he flats out in 6th gear, right out to the bollards on the left-hand side, and then back through the white bridge. So back 2 gears now. It's just this is for me the best part of this course, and you maybe feel a little bit of wind up there today, but when it's a normal sunny dry day, it's the best part of the course for me. And we're going to see Pete now again at Balacry jump.
Wow.
A lot more level, less wheelie for him, and he's just still driving forward. So yeah, really impressive.
Dean Harrison then has gone through at the bungalow. Good news for Glen Irwin fans. The rookie was in 10th. When we got through the last sector. So Glen Irwin on for a top 10 in the senior on his first ever senior TT race. Jamie Coward then about to come through over at Ramsey Hairpin. We'll wait for Peter Hickman to come through then at the bungalow. Peter Hickman has just lost a couple of tenths here and there in the first 3 sectors of this 4th lap. Let's see what the gap looks like. Will he increase it? It was 17.9 Hickman's advantage over Harrison at Ramsey. Connor Cummins at the moment 1.4 up on Davey Todd. Dunlop is 5th, Hillier 6th, 11.6 down now on Michael Dunlop. Ian Hutchinson is in 7th. Jamie Coward for the time being is in 8th, but we've yet to see Dom Herbertson come through. And at bungalow then it is 18.4 then the gap between Ramsey Hairpin and the bungalow. Peter Hickman has made up half a second. Dean Harrison is leaving it all out there. This gap isn't increasing by a lot, Lee.
Yeah, massively. And like we said about the screen, that's up there on the mountain is probably the worst place for it. So yeah, for Dean to only lose half a second on that section, and we don't know. Pete's really good at controlling these races now. He's got so much experience of knowing his limits and what to push to and risk factor and stuff. So yeah, we don't know how comfortable Pete's sitting there, or like I say, you have to try and win at the slowest pace possible. Not that any of these guys are going slow right now. As we watch the master at work here, McGuinness.
John McGuinness just heading over the Balacry, and Michael Dunlop behind him, and Connor Cummins as well. That was from earlier on. Connor Cummins has gone through at the bungalow. He's now 2.2 seconds up on his teammate Davey Todd. That's in the fight for 3rd. James Hillier again, he's just lost a touch of time to Michael Dunlop, who's in 5th, but Michael is 52.4 seconds down on Davey Todd. Ian Hutchinson's just gone through the bungalow. He's 21 seconds down on James Hillier. He's in 7th. But through Crunknamona now, those of you in the grandstand, you'll see the number 2 that's flashed up. That means that at Crunknamona, then Dean Harrison, we're less than a minute away from our second pit stops here at the end of lap 4. We've got our eyes at the moment on the top 2. He'll come into the pit lane first, then it will be Peter Hickman. The gap was 18.4 at the bungalow. We'll see what it's like at Crunknamona in just a second. Connor Cummins then was 2.2 up on Davey Todd. 3 seconds slower on this climb of the mountain than previous laps for both Dean and Peter. So it looks like the wind might well just be picking up out there at this moment in time. Through Governor's Dip then for Dean Harrison. And then he'll make his way through the Nook and onto Glen Crutchery Road. And you'll hear that pit lane siren. And it'll be time then for the second pit stops, Lee.
Yeah, he'll be just looking for the bus stop now, just on our right-hand side, but Dean's left-hand side. That's what you sort of use as a braking reference to get into the pits and get stopped in time before you need the speed limiter. Obviously, it's different on different bikes, but yeah, here he comes now.
Down to you, Kinners.
Yeah, 18.4 at the bungalow. It's 19.1 through Cronknamona. The Dean Harrison is behind Peter Hickman. Having a look at that screen, it is a big, big hole in that. They can't do anything to fix that. They're just going to have to leave it. It doesn't actually look too bad, but it does look like something big is it that had gone straight through. But it does look pretty stable. The mechanics and the guys don't seem really that bothered with it, to be fair. So the new rear tyre has gone in. The fuel is going in. Dean just has a little bit of adjustment on the clutch there as well, or maybe just on the rear thumb brake. Yeah, he's just adjusting the clutch on the left-hand side there. We're into lap number 5 when he leaves here in a minute. But Hickey is through Cronknamona. Davy Todd is also through Cronknamona as well. We'll get their times of the pit stops. It was 58 in the last time round for the Dow team. They dropped the water bottle. He gets a big thumbs up from the guys. The Milwaukee guys give him a big cheer. And there's Dean Harrison through. Gets a good cheer from the grandstand. 130.983 that time. Dean is in and out, and here comes our next rider. Should be Hickey. It's number 10 bike. Yeah, he goes past us now. There's Hickman through, and the lead is 19.34 at 131.066 for Peter Hickman as he came into the pit stop past the old stop box. We'll have the Malenko bikes coming in next, and it'll get very, very busy here in Gasoline Alley. You hear the klaxon go once more. Dean Harrison this time through the pits, 54.616. Here's Davy Todd in. Todd holding on to provisionally third at the moment. What's Davy Todd's lap? 138.17. So Hickey in and leading the race at the moment. So 10 and 8 are in here. We should get number 11 should be next on the road. Connor Cummins should be the next man we're looking for. He's not gone through. He has gone through Cronknamona, should I say. And Michael Dunlop's through Cronknamona, James Hillier, Ian Hutchinson and John McGuinness all through Cronknamona. And here is Connor right next to me now. Stops the Malenko bike. And Hickey just having a bit of problem, possibly getting away there. Connor's in, 131.058. Connor's quickest lap of the race. Michael Dunlop is in, James Hillier. He's not missing the pit stop this time. Here's number 1, John McGuinness in as well. So Hickman leads 19.34 seconds for number 2, Dean Harrison, who in turn has a 20.8 second gap back to Connor Cummins. Davy Todd, 2.7 back off Connor in 4th. That's number 8. Michael Dunlop, number 6. He is in 5th place as Ian Hutchinson comes in. As you got Davy Todd leading the bottom of the pit lane there. Michael Dunlop's in. James Hillier's in. Connor Cummins is in. Ian Hutchinson is in and John McGuinness in. So they're all in on their pit stops. Looking a bit further back just to keep people updated. Who else is through Cronknamona? Nobody else there. And there's Connor getting a massive roar from the grandstand. You heard there as Connor leaves. We'll give the pit time for Connor in a second. Hickman's second pit stop, 56.8. That's their quickest. Connor Cummins, 56.9. Davy Todd, 56.2. So very, very similar once again. The pit stops for the Padgett's boys as Hutchie on the Milwaukee BMW gets set to go. And the R1 of James Hillier, the R1, that cross-plane crank fires in. And Hutchie, just with a few problems, hits that limiter exactly 50 kilometres up to 57. And away goes Hutchie. If you wonder what the little blue square is on the bottom of pit lane there, that's so they can have a little look over their shoulders just to see exactly if there's any riders coming down, like the blue flag that they have on short circuit racing. So the pit stop times this time: Hickman 56.8, Harrison 54.6, Cummins 55.9, Todd 56.2, Dunlop 57.3, Hillier 106, Hutchinson's team 52.2, so very similar to their first one, by the way, and McGuinness's team 53.9. Back to you, Steve.
Yeah, thank you very much. Once again, a big thanks to Chris Boyd, who tells us Harrison's 2.2 seconds quicker in the pits. There's a problem there on screen. We can see that's a delayed screen as well, but we'll try and get that in just a moment. Was that number 35, James Hind, I think, just getting it a little bit squirrely, shall we say. Connor has gained a bit of time over Davy Todd as well. He will extend his advantage. Problems, it looked like, though, in pit lane for James Hillier's team again.
Yeah, it just seemed there was a little delay in the back wheel or something, so the fuel was finished before they'd got the back wheel in. So I don't know what that'll cost them time-wise. I haven't seen anything.
It was 10 to 12 seconds dropped at an estimate, Boydie reckons. So, of course, we'll wait for them to come through. Glen Helen, James Coward is Jamie Coward is in. He's now going to change up. Dom Herbertson's now entering pit lane, number 16. We saw Clive Padgett legging it, didn't we, Lee, from rider to rider as he went to see Davy Todd first and then Connor Cummins.
Yeah, I'd love to know what he's told each rider there. He's run down from Davy, obviously was in the pits first, and give him his encouragement or whatever he wanted to say, and then back up to Connor. So all part of being a team manager.
Dean Harrison is through. Ballacrane, we just saw him then breaking into that right-hander. We just see now on our screens Dom Herbertson is getting himself ready to go back out. Jamie Coward is now leaving pit lane, about to cross over St Ninians, down Bray Hill, over Aggo's Leap into Quarter Bridge. So then we'll look and see what the gap is. We believe the gap will just come down slightly. It was 19.3 at the grandstand. Through Glen Helen comes Dean Harrison. Into Ballacrane comes Peter Hickman, your race leader at the moment. That gap perhaps will come down to around about 17 seconds again here on lap 5 of 6 for the Milwaukee Senior TT. Into pit lane here comes 14. That's Big Phil Crow. We'll try and see where Phil is at the grandstand. At the moment, he went across the line in 11th, of course, but he's only the 11th rider to have come in. We'll track that in just a moment. Around Ballacrane there for Davey Todd as well. We'll try and find out what that gap's like between Todd and Connor Cummins. Cummins has been on the podium the last 3 senior TTs, of course. This is a great opportunity for Davey Todd to pick up his second TT podium. We're just watching here, Rice, just stopping here in pit lane. How much of a breather do you actually get here, Lee, or are you constantly thinking about what's coming next?
Yeah, so important to have a good pit crew that give you enough information, but obviously aren't panicking. So we just see Davey Todd using absolutely the full of the road here in Ballacrane. Just watch him on the exit. He's right out to the air fences on the... I think he... Whoa.
And I can tell you the gap has come down quite considerably there. That's the winners and losers in pit lane. Peter Hickman then at the grandstand was 19.3 seconds up, and at Glen Helen, Kinnes 13.9 the gap.
I just seen Glenn Irwin off the machine there as well. I think Glenn is off the machine. I think he's down. She's there or not yet. Oh, that's a shame for Glenn.
I don't know if he's got a bike. He's got his visor off, but yeah, I don't know if something's hit him. They still seem to be putting fuel into the bike, and he's obviously quite expressive with his mannerisms.
Wind.
Yeah. Oh, he's nearly just been hit there by another rider. So yeah, I think Steve Plater down there on the television is going to try and get an interview with him. But yeah, sad to see him out on his debut, obviously, and he would have tried to go for that 130 lap.
So then the top 4 are through at Glen Helen. Peter Hickman is 13.9 up on Dean Harrison. Connor Cummins is 3rd. The Maxman, number 11. He's 4.4 seconds up now on Davey Todd, so he's gained some time on his teammate in pit lane.
Derek Shields safely through and his pit stop, number 18 as well. And also Sam West has just come in. Sam's had a tough all week as well after that crash he had at Laurel Bank early on in the week. Seems an absolute age ago, but we've got Glen Helen next.
Good job for Milwaukee BMW. You have to take your hats off. The 2 fastest pit stops in the Superbike race a week ago and again here today.
Do you reckon that's anything to do with their Milwaukee Tool sponsorship? They're plugging that for the old drill driver there.
Steve's doing a bit DIY when he gets home anyway, so he's not been home. So there we go. There is Derek Shields, Big Derek on the Roadhouse Macau machine. He gets himself away and out of pit lane. The chain goes on. In that pit stop, there's a rider. He sat on the bike waiting for all the boys to do the stuff. If something doesn't go to plan, how do you deal with that quickly?
Yeah, you just need to put it out of your mind. It is frustrating, but you have to remember everybody in there is there for you to do the best you can possibly do. Do you know what I mean? No one's doing anything on purpose. Sometimes things go wrong. So yeah, just get that out of your mind and get cracked on again straight out of the pits. As we see, like what you said about Sam West, massive crash in the middle of the week, and I think he's borrowed another bike off someone else. His bike burnt to a crisp. So yeah, credit to him and the whole team back out there, and he's running good.
If you're holding a pit board for Dean Harrison, it was 13.9, the difference in Glen Helen. He's already through Balaf. So Dean Harrison then now, number 2, going really well, keeping Peter Hickman on his toes.
Didn't seem to have any splits in it as well from where the hole in the screen is to the top line. It seemed to be just as if somebody just put a hole saw through it, like a 24mm hole saw or something like that. Now that's DIY speak for you.
There is other tools other than Milwaukee you can buy also.
I think Johnston's doing his best here. There's no product placement going on up here for Lee Johnston. Great shot just a moment ago through Quarry Bends of Dean Harrison. He's now on his approach to the Selby Straight. Just coming into view in Balaf any second now will be Peter Hickman, and we'll see what that gap looks like. In the meantime, number 16 on our TV screens, that's Dom Herbertson in 8th, coming through Ballacrane.
Looking at Dean Harrison through the speed trap, lap 5, 194.178, Steve.
The gap has come down again. Peter Hickman, then we're on lap 5 of 6. Peter Hickman is 12.9 seconds clear of Dean Harrison now.
Looking at the grandstand split, it's 7 seconds he's got back from the grandstand through to Balaf Bridge. So including the pit stop, the time is made up as young James Hine bounces his machine into the bold stop box and through and into his pit stop at 7 seconds. So Hickman, possibility, only surmising, maybe with a problem. Hey, you never know. Or is he just managing the lead?
It's hard to say, isn't it? Really, really hard to say. Peter Hickman then 12.9 up. We can see that Davey Todd has gone through Balaf, 29.7. We'll see what the gap is between him and his teammate Connor Cummins. That's come down a bit. Davey Todd has made half a second up from Glen Helen to Balaf. It's 3.9, the difference in favour of Connor Cummins.
Yeah, Connor's on a bit of a charge. He said he started a bit slow in the race of the day. He said he saw a little red light and he didn't know whether to go and lost a couple of seconds off the start. He's got off today and he's managed to stay with them. 25.7 back off Dino. A lot of work to get that second place. I'm sure Connor at the moment will be getting good boards, and he goes over there so good there over Balagary, wasn't he?
Yeah, I actually seen that the other day. I was behind Connor at the start and I seen the red light happen and he stalled and lost a couple of seconds, or maybe more than a couple of seconds, but he's notorious for just getting into his rhythm and then getting cracked on. So let's see what he can do in the last 2 laps.
Well, a worthy reminder here about what happened in the 2019 senior race, of course. Peter Hickman was in command, and unfortunately, Kinners, he had to. This was about this time where things started to go a bit wrong. So then, we'll get track on things at Balaf. I can tell you, Peter Hickman 12.9 over Dean Harrison, Cummins third, Davey Todd fourth. Michael Dunlop for now was fifth. He'll hold on to that. James Hillier still in sixth. Hutchie still seventh. McGuinness has gone through Balaf in eighth, but Dom Herbertson at the moment on the road is just 6.5 seconds ahead of Jamie Coward.
Yeah, and of course, you've got to keep an eye on Jamie Coward. Steady top 10 performance again. I think Peter Hickman won the senior TT the other year. I think it was a heating problem, maybe a clutch problem or something, which dropped him off there as well. But just watching Clive Padgett having a little bit of a chat with Steve Plater on the telly box.
Yeah, so Dean Harrison is through. Ramsey Hairpin, number 2 then on his Dow Racing Kawasaki. That gap came down to 12.9 at Balaf. Has he managed to cut the gap down again on this 5th lap of 6 in the Milwaukee Senior TT race? The battle is still on for 3rd place as well. Lee?
I think my eyes are sore looking at this screen, waiting for this time to pop up than they were yesterday, riding around the track. Yeah, this is getting a bit tense here. And like you mentioned in 19, if I'm correct, I don't know if Pete's bike maybe overheated at that time or what was happening. And obviously they've probably solved all them problems now. But this is such a grueling race, and anything could be happening right now. So maybe for next year they can get some microphones in Pete's helmet, and we could just pop him a little question and ask like they do on the cricket. That'd be good, wouldn't it?
11:29.861 for Hickman to get there. 11:35 for Harrison. Steve?
Yeah, Hickman has just gained a little bit back then on the approach to Ramsey. From Balaf to Ramsey, the gap then is 13.4 seconds in favour of Peter Hickman. Now going around Ramsey Hairpin and off to the waterworks.
Struggled to pick up a bit there, Lee, did it?
Yeah, he went in a little bit hot, and just like I said, them 2 damp patches are right in the middle of your line. So he sort of grabbed the brake and let the brake off and run wide, and the bike just bogs ever so slightly. But I can't see that really costing him any time. He's just erring on the side of caution there, as Pete always does.
Around Mayhill and in towards the Ramsey section now for Davey Todd. He's 31.5 seconds down on Dean Harrison, but at the moment, as he short shifts out of Ramsey, we're just waiting now for Connor Cummins to come through, number 11, and we'll see what that gap is.
Yeah, Mark Goodings just leave pit lane as well. The Scarborough regular here. Be glad to see if Scarborough will come back at the end of the year. Lee Johnson, I did just miss that on the screen. What did you see?
Oh, Pete was I've just been talking about him on the air at caution. He was absolutely the full of the road out of the hairpin there. So yeah, he's trying. This is why he gains the time onto the mountain. He's full commitment now from he gets out of there
up through Tower Bends.
Yeah.
Michael Dunlop, speaking of using all the track there on the run through to Cruikshanks and up through Stella Maris and stuff. Wow, he's quick, isn't he, through there, using all the road?
Yeah, backing it into Ramsey Hairpin, lovely bit of action. But yeah, the other night on the Supersport bike when he passed me, he's just unbelievable. Curb to curb, wall to hedge, like full commitment. So that's the way Michael rides all the time.
Mark Miller is down in pit lane with Glenn Irwin.
Glenn, you've had such a smashing first TT. You've done everything right. You got the fastest lap time ever by a newcomer. What happened in the race?
Yeah, it's I suppose it's been good when that's a nice record to have, but I'm disappointed. Before I came here, I expected more, to be truthfully honest. I wasn't allowed to say what I thought I could do, but I thought I would do 131, and conditions didn't really allow for that. But in that race, the bike was working really, really good, and deliberately went out quite steady with the wind, and I was really enjoying it there. Like people, I couldn't even see people some laps, and then like Craig Neve and Anderson were just coming back so fast, and I just got by the both of them. But yeah, just a really small issue, but enough to make you pull in here. Yeah, it's hard to explain what it is, but it's like someone's hitting you in the tire with a hammer type feeling is how I would describe it. You know, like you have a square back wheel when you don't. So yeah, it's so frustrating. But all in all, you know, it's the objective was to come to have fun, and you know, obviously, first goal, as I always said, was to come home and you know, be in one piece because we have a busy BSB season, and at the same time, you know, as much as we didn't target it outwardly, I felt good that we would come and you know, maybe leave a fastest newcomer record, and it's a nice feather in the cap. But I'm a typical racer, and trust me, I always want more. To get into 10th in my first senior after being in quite lowly positions at the beginning was a really nice feeling, and I think I'm more frustrated at losing 2 laps more than anything. Yeah, losing 2 laps, and just I was really enjoying even with the win. That by that stage your brain knows everything where it is, so I could ride good in other areas, and yeah, I was going around with a smile on my face. I really was. But you know, oh no, it's been a good week. I'm not sure how John's going out there, so hopefully he's in a strong position, and you know, the team can celebrate a finish in the senior.
We've checked a lot of boxes, and welcome to the TT with all the highs and the lows. Well done, mate.
Yeah, thank you very much to Mark Miller. Thanks to Glen Helen. He's had a great season for that brief explanation there from Glen. What a year he's had, though. A Superbike triple over at Silverstone. And then, of course, he's done so well at the Northwest on the Superbikes. And then he's done so well here as the newcomer at the TT. Right, 4 riders through at the bungalow. Peter Hickman, 14.7 up on Dean Harrison. Connor Cummins, 27 seconds down on Dino in third. In turn, he's 3.9 up on Davey Todd.
That's come down just a little bit from the Ramsey to the bungalows. Dean Harrison makes Cronk Nimona on lap 5 of 6 of the Milwaukee Senior TT here on the Isle of Man. It's looking pretty good out there for a Hickman win, but long way to go as of yet. I've never seen anybody in the commentary box up here before with shades on.
Sorry, I'm really struggling to see the screen.
Borrow my glasses?
No, I think I'd start a fire with them things on the depth of the lens. But yeah, I'm straining like mad just to see the screen. But this is it's an amazing race, and hopefully, I don't want anything to happen, Pete. But if we could get the gap down a little bit just for what we're watching.
Just coming up to Governor's Dip now is Dean Harrison. He's already through Cronk Nimona. So we're going to come up now, and he will start the 6th and final lap of this senior TT race. Give him a big round of applause. Those of you in the grandstand, give him a big cheer. It's going to be the start of the final lap. Can he do anything about this huge gap to Peter Hickman? It's 14.7 seconds at the bungalow. Here he comes across the line now. Dean Harrison then. We'll get his lap time up in just a second, Kinners.
Yeah, 18:05.099. That does include the pit stop. Actually, quicker than the lap he did for the pit stop out last time. 125.176. 125.176. Hickman, though, is Steve is through Cronk Nimona. Yeah, it's 16.2. It's gone out again. He's so good on that mountain, isn't he?
Yeah, he really is. And so Peter Hickman then 16.2 it is up on Dean Harrison. And any second now then, you're going to get your eyes on Hickman starting the final lap. Is this going to be another senior TT win? His last, of course, coming in 2018. Harrison got it last time out in 2019, 3 years ago. Just waiting now for him to make his way onto Glen Crutchery Road. We can see Steve Plater doing exactly the same thing for TV as well. Just waiting now with our window open here in the grandstand, waiting for the sound of that Gas Monkey Garage by FHO Racing BMW. And then we'll monitor the gap. Here he comes. Peter Hickman then over the grandstand, 16.5. 16.5 he leads with 1 lap to go. Retirement for number 55, Dave Hewson.
Yeah, same for Big Dave. He's had a tough all weekend. Good to see him bringing that. He was another one riding Aprilia in the Super Twin race as well. Said a wonderful bike to watch as we watch Peter Hickman flat to the mat on the Gas Monkey machine. He'll drop down now. Alexander driving in, dropping down the hill past the Bill Bishop's house there now. Swings to the right-hand side of the road, cuts it close through there, and it cuts it into the left. You can hear the spectators and we're watching the live stream oh my goodness me, he was out of the seat, very similar to Dean Harrison on their lap number 4 after that pit stop.
it's moments like this that make you realise how hard these boys are trying. You know, you see them flowing through the fast sections and it looks easy, but theirs was just a good indication of they are absolutely on the limit of these bikes and tyres. We see Jimmy Coward coming in to view now on the mountain. Really good ride again from Jimmy. He rode really well all week. He was a bit unlucky in the Super Twin race to break down out of it. He was genuinely in third place. So,
has he got traction control on this, is Hickey?
No, I think he turns it all off for here, if I'm honest.
Just on the little bit of rough tarmac there, where all the road traffic's gone through, where all the stones have all been bitten up there. But it's 16.5. Importantly, he leads going out in the last lap.
Yeah, that was at Quarterbridge for Peter Hickman. And we're talking about 4 riders now. 5, 6 have gone past us here in the grandstand. That was Michael Dunlop and John McGuinness. Hickman leads by 16.5. Connor Cummins is third on this final lap. Then number 11 ahead of his teammate Davey Todd. The gap has just come down. Oh no, it's just gone up again at 3.3 between Cummins and Todd. Remarkable how small that gap has been throughout the entirety of this senior TT race.
And how happy do you think Connor's going to be at the end of this if he can hang on to that third position? When you spoke to him after the Superstock race, when he was lying in a heap after falling off his motocross bike, and he also thought to himself, that's it, I'm not going to be able to do TT. He always seemed to run with that look, but that Superstock result has given him the confidence of the rest of the week, hasn't it?
Yeah, massively. And outside of that, this new kid has come into his team, and Davey's a really good lad, and so is Connor, but the whole hype's been around Davey. So for Connor just to stamp his little bit of authority on it there and get the second in stock, and then to get this podium today, that would reassure his ride and the position in the team. But it'll be hard for the whole Paget's team to be happy for one rider and then the other rider not be on the podium. So yeah.
So, of course, we'll wait now for the first sector to flash up for Dean Harrison over at Glen Helen. 16.5. We know how strong Dino can be from the grandstand to Glen Helen. So we can also tell you that Dean Harrison is coming up to some traffic. Number 56, Barry Ferber, is just ahead of him on the road. So he's going to have to deal with that shortly as well.
How difficult is it to get past? I know the slower traffic. They're still in their own race, Lee. You're obviously going to be very conscious of the fact you can have guys catching up you behind as well. So you've got to get past fast as you can, safely.
The big thing is, safely, and not trying to scare anyone. They're especially on big, fast corners. You're trying to line up the corner. They're trying to line up the corner. And the thing you have to remember is they can't see you. It's all the cards are in your hand. So you have to be the safest and get past them as quickly and safe as possible, which is... Most of the top guys have respect for people out there. Do you know what I mean? There's very few comments nowadays of the way people ride in British Championship and stuff. It just doesn't happen here at the Isle of Man TT.
Glen Helen then through for Dean Harrison. We just saw a moment ago coming through Gorsley corner and then into Ballacrane for Peter Hickman. We're looking now on our TV screens at replay from the last lap of Dean Harrison with that hole in the screen. That was at the bungalow from earlier on.
Just seems to have a crack on the left-hand side there as well. Maybe they might have put a sticker on it in the pit stops, maybe, but I didn't see them go anywhere near it. To be fair, the team didn't go near it.
So then, through Glen Helen for Dean Harrison, and shortly Peter Hickman will come through there as well. Just about Gorsley, we just saw a great shot of Peter Hickman going through Gorsley, Lee Johnston. A number of riders, and I want this to kind of go through to people that might not understand, say that's a 3-year corner. What do they mean by a 3-year corner?
Yeah, like I said earlier about the commitment and there's so much speed, anything over 150 mile an hour or 60 mile an hour, when you roll a little bit, there's 2, 3, 4 seconds there, do you know what I mean? And all these big corners like Ballagary and places like that just come with outright commitment, and even having a little scare at the start of the week can put you off for 2 or 3 days, so it's massive.
There is the gap then, and it's come down at Glen Helen on this final lap of the senior TT race. Kinners, it's down to 13.9.
Yeah, I'm going to have a little look and see if he might be on anywhere near lap record pace. Why is this dropping from 3 seconds every time? Why is he? I think he's managing it. I really, really think he knows he's got 2 seconds on them up the mountain. He knows he can manage this all the way through. I'm pretty sure he's doing that.
Well, we shall find out shortly. Davey Todd is through Glen Helen now as well. 29.5. He's actually just cut that gap down a bit to Dean Harrison. Now we wait to see what the gap is between the two Malenko by Paget's teammates, Todd and Cummins.
9 seconds at the moment. Peter Hickman is off outright lap record pace. Nobody's got near that today whatsoever. Track time lead, do you think? Just not enough setup time with these big bikes?
Yeah, definitely, and a little bit to do with the weather and stuff. It's I don't know how windy it is out there, so I can't actually say that. But yeah, the trees seem to be blowing a fair old bit down here outside the commentary booth, so I can't imagine what it's like up on the mountain.
Just having a look at a replay through the boys through the bungalow there. People wrapped up in about 8 layers and hats on and stuff, so we do know it's going to be cold up there. And well done to all you marshals out there, stood up there. You'll be stood up there for a long time today. Thank you all for signing on today as well.
Yeah, it's brilliant to see so many members of the Paddock Riders teams, personnel signing up here today. We've got a number of riders through. Glen Helen then, Connor Cummins and Davey Todd. What a battle this is for third. It's down to 1.1 seconds between them at the moment. Dunlop at the moment in 5th place. Hillier 6th. I can tell you, Phil Crow at the grandstand is on for a top 10, although that's just changed because Craig Neve has just gone through into 10th. He's at the grandstand, of course. These other riders just going through Glen Helen.
Yeah, Sean Anderson dropping into 11th place on the number 19 machine, 13 seconds back off Craig Neve. So the top 10 at the grandstand: 10 Hickman, 2 Harrison, 11 Cummins, then 8 Todd, 6 Dunlop, 5 Hillier, 4 Hutchinson, 12 Coward, 1 McGuinness, and 20 Craig Neve, your top 10. Then number 19, Sean Anderson, 11th, and Philip Crowe, you just said, number 14 slots into 12th.
Yeah, just seen Dean in the run into Balaf there, got held up slightly by a back marker. I don't know if it impaired his vision before the last right, or he just managed to get him in the braking zone. But yeah, he was stuck behind him a little bit there for a second or two. So let's see if that shows up on the timing screen.
Yeah, so then from Balaf over to Balacry for Dean Harrison. You can just see that bit of traffic just in the distance there. Can't quite put a number
Forrest
on it.
Dunn, I think that is actually 38 Forrest Dunn. Yeah, the rider on the Team Classic Suzuki. Hey,
full commitment for Dean there into Quarry Bends. That is so impressive to watch.
Have you ever seen any of the video of the old Quarry Bends? And it was a lot narrower than that. You must look at that and just see how completely different was. We watch a replay of Jamie Coward in Gorsley fighting at R1 all the way.
This footage that we're getting today is absolutely amazing. I feel a bit like I miss out now when I'm out riding the motorbike, getting to see this all the time. But yeah,
watch it on catch up.
Jamie's absolutely on fire.
Stop being tight. Get your 15 quid out. Get the TT Plus pass. All right, then just do that. The lead, Steve.
Yeah, it's come down again then into Balaf. Peter Hickman is 12.3 seconds up on Dean Harrison on the 6th and final lap here in the senior TT. So we know that Hickman has got the mountain to come. What will the gap be when they next arrive at the Ramsey Hairpin? Should be a manageable gap when you look at it on paper, but this is not a race on paper, Lee Johnston.
Yeah, the hard part for anyone here knows that rides with Pete is that he's so strong over the mountain. So if it was the other way around, maybe not such a big gap, but Dean was leading and Pete was on the hunt, then you would be in for a really tight finish. But it's going to be hard work for Dean here with the 12-second gap to claw back.
Just looking at the splits, to Balaf, Hickman 7:26.9, Harrison 7:22.7, Davey Todd 7:20.2, Connor Cummins 7:23. Has that changed?
It has. Well, it's not changed position, but Davey Todd is on a charge on this final lap. He's a 10th of a second down on Connor Cummins. The two Padgett's boys are locking horns for the final podium position here in the senior TT. Todd is on an absolute charge on this final lap.
Yeah, it certainly is. And they are going to get that traffic that Dean Harrison has just gone on. We talked about Baz Ferber, talked about Forrest Dunn, riders who were going around at really, really reasonable pace. But these guys are all on it as we watch Connor going down through past the Quarry Bend section and in past the Wildlife Park there. Oh, that is so fast, isn't it? Just rolls it a bit there, just a little roll, was it?
Yeah, just rolls it and back a gear, not massive, because there's quite a big dip into Quarry and you sort of jump almost into the first right, so you don't want to grab a handful of brake and upset the bike anymore. But yeah, Connor smooth as ever through.
Steve Hislop's famous corner there, where Steve Hislop used to always use the bus stop there, Schoolhouse Corner, into Ramsey, hard on the brakes, into Parliament Square, past the Swan and the two pubs there. I can't remember what the other one's called, the Central. Yeah, the Swan and the Central, as you watch John McGuinness and Michael Dunlop. Michael will be disappointed, I think, in this. I think Michael hoping for better things, but he's on the back of John McGuinness. How many TT wins have we got there? 40 odd. 47. 44, yeah. 44, yeah. Did I say 47? It's been a long 2.5 weeks, Steve, as Dean Harrison through Ramsey.
It is. Here he comes then, Dean Harrison. Now, we know that on the last couple of laps, Dean Harrison's managed to make a bit of time up here on Peter Hickman as well. He's getting brilliant applause, as he should do, as he heads now up towards the waterworks. Just shortly, you'll see Peter Hickman, and we'll give you the gap. It was 12.3 last time at Balaf.
Yeah, 6 seconds outside the outright record, but it's coming down. That split is coming down. They are getting up to better pace on that. There were 6. They were about, they were way off it, should I say, through Glen Helen. But there's now only 6 seconds on it. But we've got to keep an eye on Hickman. What was it? 12.2 12.3 it was at Balaf. So yeah, if this comes down anymore, are we going to see a repeat of 2019 on the last bit?
You just never know, do you? 3 years we've been waiting here in the senior TT for a senior TT race. We're just waiting now on Peter Hickman, who's about to come through, Ramsey himself, and we'll get that gap for you.
Yeah, and he's got Barry Ferber just ahead of him. Barry will just be going through Ramsey Hairpin there now on that number 56 machine, and he's going to have Peter Hickman, who's just coming up towards White Gates now. There he goes, really, really wide on the exit. You can see the two different parts of the TT course, and then they'll straighten up, going through Stella Maris, and then hard on the brakes, that Bruce Anstey line. There's the Bruce Anstey line we're telling you about when he goes really, really wide. What's the gap?
It's 12.1, so a couple of tenths gain for Dean Harrison, but not enough really to change it. 12.1, and already Hickman is waving to the crowds.
Oh man, how devastating would that be if something happened after? Oh, fair play to him to have the confidence to do that. Look at Davy Todd absolutely sideways into Ramsey Hairpin.
He's still the fastest man on this last lap. He's closed the gap again to Dean Harrison, and I rather fancy he may well have overtaken Connor Cummins on the road. Cummins is going to be coming up to Ramsey any second now on this final lap. And I think Davy Todd might have just moved up into third place. We'll wait for the number 11, of course. He comes through. Oh, no, it's not, says Connor. Half a second up he is on Davy Todd.
Well, there's a bit of fight in the old dog yet. I love the fact that Connor is the coolest, calmest man going, and he's absolutely digging in here, just really, coming out of Ramsey Hairpin.
Really white, and on the white line, I remember the George Formby film No Limit when they were riding up the hedge there to get past. Brilliant stuff from Connor, in and out of his hometown for the last time in this Milwaukee Senior TT.
Just at the last split in Balaf before we came to Ramsey, Michael Dunlop was still in fifth. He was 16 seconds ahead of James Hillier. In seventh was Hutchie, 19.7 seconds back on Hillier. Jamie Coward was in eighth. McGuinness was in ninth, but there's a number of riders still to come through there. 5 riders through at Ramsey. John McGuinness has just gone through there right now. And as you would expect, getting a big round of applause, he's got Dunlop just behind him as well.
Yeah, that's Michael. I think we'll just stick on the back of John now. He doesn't need to push anymore, does Michael? Doesn't have to prove anything. James Hines still going, Julian Trummer, David Datson, Mike Evans all gone through on their last lap. Raul Torres Martinez, he's going to be going out in his last lap as well, short. He's through Cronk-Namona.
James Hillier has actually cut the gap down a bit to Michael Dunlop in the battle for fifth. He made 3 seconds up on the Suzuki rider from Balaf to Ramsey. So Dunlop in fifth, Hillier in sixth, 13.1 seconds split those two. Into the bungalow for Dean Harrison. More traffic up ahead as Kinners heads down now, of course, to interview the top 3. It looks like it's going to be Hickman from Harrison. We don't know who's going to be in third. It is a proper scrap between the Paget's boys, Connor Cummins and Davy Todd. Bit of traffic to deal with here, Lee, for Dean Harrison.
Yeah, I think he's coming in hot. He's got held up big time there. That's unfortunate.
Not sure who that was, but that could have cost him, a couple of seconds?
Yeah, at least just for the run out of it as well. So, yeah, that's unfortunate for Dean. But at this point, I don't honestly think he's got the 12 seconds is a big gap to have to Pete unless something happens sort of on the rundown from the mountain mile now.
It's not too far, the gap between the bungalow and Cronk-Namona and then home. So Dean Harrison then is into the final couple of sectors. We'll wait for Peter Hickman just to come through there shortly. The gap between Connor Cummins and Davy Todd we'll look at shortly as well. We've got a rider just retiring here into pit lane. I think that's Smart. No, who is that? Mark Goodings, is it? Number 31? Yeah, 31. I think Mark Goodings has just retired through the bungalow then for Peter Hickman. Let's see what the gap is. He's extended it. Despite the waves to the crowds, he's 14.039 up then with a couple of sectors left to go. Peter Hickman then on course here. What a week he's had. 3 wins already here in this TT week. He's already got himself up to 8 wins in the TT outright. This would move him on to number 9. He'd be level with Charlie Williams and the great David Jeffries if he picks up a victory here today. And both he and Dean Harrison are climbing up the table in terms of TT podiums as well. I believe this would be potentially number 19 or 20 for the pair of them. We'll look at that later. Davy Todd then, he's climbing and he's made time up again. He's into the bungalow. Here comes Connor Cummins. What's the gap between Todd and Cummins? It is still Connor Cummins has found some time. The Maxman then is 2.7 seconds up on Davy Todd in the fight for third, Lee Johnston.
Connor was absolutely all shapes into the bungalow there. He is full commitment in this lap. So Unbelievable riding from the big Manx man.
Mike Brown is out at Kirk Michael. That's a shame for the Irishman. He's had a brilliant 2 weeks considering he came here with broken ankles. That's James Hillier we're just watching from the helicopter footage right now. Is that
Michael Dunlop
just up ahead of him? And of course, these two are fighting for 5th place right now as well.
Yeah,
So,
really good ride from James. Like I said, he's come strong in the end of the race and just found his rhythm again. So awesome job from him.
there's a couple of riders actually just up ahead of him. Michael Dunlop and is that John McGuinness as well, just up ahead of him. I can tell you that through Crunknamona is Dean Harrison. It's looking like it's going to be 2nd place again here for Dean Harrison this week, but you've got to stand up here in the grandstand as Hillier makes his way past Dunlop on the road. Shortly, you'll see the Dow Racing Kawasaki come across the line. He will be the first to take the checkered flag here in the senior TT. He has given this a mighty blast, Dean Harrison, considering he's had a hole in that screen for, 3-4 laps now. He's done an excellent job. It's been a pretty good week as well for the Dow Racing Kawasaki rider, and any second now, we'll get sight of him. The checkered flag is being made ready. Here he is, across the line for Dean Harrison. We'll see whether it's enough. It's unlikely to be enough to take the victory. Next up, of course, will be Peter Hickman, and he's 17.2 up at Crunknamona. You can't see Peter Hickman kissing that one goodbye. So we've got about 45, 50 seconds left for Peter Hickman to come across the line, and he will be crowned the senior TT winner. He's at Signpost Corner, and he's just pulled up a huge stand-up wheelie. And he's now through Bedstead. Peter Hickman, Davey Todd and Connor Cummins will keep our eye on that battle shortly. We've just seen Dean Harrison come through then. And now into the final moments, into the nook for Peter Hickman on the Gas Monkey Garage by FHO Racing BMW. What a rider this lad is. Peter Hickman. He won the Superbike race. He won the Super Stock race. He's into Governor's Dips. He's onto Glen Crutchery Road. He's going to be coming in a moment. That's not yet, folks. You're getting a bit excited. But just any second now, Hickman will be heading down the road. Here he comes. He wins the senior TT. Peter Hickman has it by 16.9 seconds. Now, it's the anxious wait between Connor Cummins and Davey Todd. 2.3 seconds in favour of Connor Cummins over Davey Todd at Crunknamona. Here's Davey Todd. He crosses the line right now. Now we face the anxious wait. Will it be Todd? Will it be Connor Cummins, the number 11, the Manxman, on the podium this week already? Is he going to be on the podium here in the senior TT? We're waiting. What a final lap this has been from both of the Paget's boys as well. It's a shame that both of them can't be standing on the podium. We now just wait and wait for Connor Cummins. Here he comes. You can hear him screaming along across the line for Connor Cummins, and he takes third. Third for Connor Cummins. 2.8 seconds clear of Davey Todd. What a race from those two, Lee Johnston.
Unbelievable. I'm so chuffed for Connor. Obviously upset for Davey, but so chuffed for Connor and the whole Paget's team. That must be so hard to be down there happy for one rider and the other rider just missing out.
Peter Hickman then is making his way in. Down to you, Chris Kinley.
Well, he's going to get some reception. Listen to this. Here he is. Anybody out there? Wowee! Milwaukee senior TT winner on the Gas Monkey by FHO Racing BMW is Peter Hickman by 16.9 seconds from Dean Harrison. Connor Cummins, he's in. Oh, what's Connor going to do? Is he going to be reserved? Yeah, just nice and reserved for Connor. Quickest lap of the race, though. Davey Todd there, 17.08.64, 1.23.046. Connor Cummins, 1.31978 on the last lap as well. The gap between Connor and Davey in the end, 2.8 seconds. And Dean Harrison gives a little look at this screen. Wow, yeah, there's a bit of bird debris on there. Let's have a little look at the front of Dean's bike as well. It's all around the front too. Let's have a little check on here. Yeah, all on the side. Oh, my goodness me. The whole front right hand, as you look to the front, the left-hand side is all over his feet and his legs. Dean Harrison, a bit of a bird strike.
Oh, it really a little bit of a disaster.
Where?
On lap one, coming towards Handley's, a bird went straight through my screen and hit me in the face. And then I had to, having half a screen, my neck's killing me. It felt like it was pulling my head off for the whole race with the wind. And then I had another bird strike on lap 5. And it pulled the side fair enough.
Yeah, just see it.
and I just carried on as fast as I could, just with whatever. But no, I can't complain. Do you know what I mean? It were good.
Chicken for tea?
Well, it's pigeon, I think. I'll give some pigeon breast for tea.
But just, we got Lee Johnson in the commentary box with us as well, and he said that you will be absolutely in bits body-wise because of that hole in there.
My neck, my shoulders is absolutely killing me, to be honest. But no, second place, brilliant. Whilst I'm on the radio, can I say a massive thanks to all the marshals, the ones that are here today and the ones that have been here for the whole fortnight. Credit where credit's due to them all. They've been out all week, every night of the week, and without the marshals, we won't be here racing as motorbikes. So I just want to say a massive thanks to everyone out there today with the flags and waving. I really appreciate it. Thanks.
Hang on, better say hello to the little ones and the missus first. Get that done. We've got a few more little bits of questions to ask him. Watch his neck. His neck is absolutely in bits. Very, very quickly, Dean. Sorry, Vic. Not just. Oh, that's a little one. Not done just yet. He was away, but you were catching him from here to Glen Helen and Balaf every lap. You were catching him.
Yeah, no, thank you very much. Yeah, no, I would, let's say I had good sectors on the last lap. Unfortunately, there were a lot of yellow flags through that sector, but it was the whole fairing were flapping around, and you're going 160, 70 mile an hour, and my screens, it kept tapping me on visor with my head down, and yeah, that's for TT for you. What can I can't help a bird strike.
See you back here for the Southern 100 in July?
I think so, yeah, that'll be the plan, so it'll be good.
Thanks, Dean.
Cheers, thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Let's get over to Connor if we can. Grab a quick word with Connor and get round the back of Dave. Sorry, Dave. Let the cameraman finish his job. We'll talk over the bike, Connor. My gum, what a race. No problems off the start line this time. You and Davey Todd. Oh, well done.
Yeah, it was a good little ding-dong, eh? I must have backed out of the flags too much because I dropped like 5 seconds straight off, and but I just had to get my head down and go for it again. Obviously, it was a fair bit back on the other lads, but yeah, I had to work hard that last lap anyway just to try and get some time back. So I don't know what the gap was at the end, but
the gap in the end 2.82.
Yeah, I was getting +0 at the start of the mountain. So no, do you know what? I'm happy with that. I was laid up in hospital in February, completely smashed up, 7 ribs, shattered collarbone, 2 broken vertebrae, punctured lung. If you'd asked me then if I was going to finish on the podium, I'd have probably laughed. It wasn't looking too good, but thanks to family, friends and sponsors for really supporting me and getting me back on the rostrum here today. So it's been a challenging winter, but just a big thanks to everyone, big thanks to the team, the Malenko White Paget, everyone back in Batley, all the team sponsors, all my personal sponsors, and everyone around the course today waving programs at me, and a load of well wishes. So just a big thanks to everyone, and we'll see what we can do next year.
We had Lee Johnson with us up in the commentary box, and he said you were riding the wheels of this thing. Coming out of Ramsey on the last lap, were you aware how wide you were on the exit?
Yeah, I was having to use a few inches extra. But yeah, the wind was so bad, so bad. But it's the same for everyone, But
I've seen Lee's bike, the front of Lee's bike, the front screen from just there has got a massive hole in it. He says his neck feels like he's been, I don't know, knocked about.
Yeah. It's TT course is a challenge in itself, and but all the elements around the course as well. It's nothing short of a challenge.
Well done, Connor. Good to see the smile back.
Thank you.
Well done to Connor. Yeah, Dean Harrison with that big, massive hole in his screen, and of course, bird strikes. 2 bird strikes for him. I don't know if Clive's still here or not. I don't know if Clive is. I haven't seen him make his way down here yet, but Billy and Carol, Connor's mum and dad, are there as well, and the family are all too. Peter's just doing the interview for TV. And yeah, just a quick look again at Dean's bike. Absolutely smashed the smithereens. And I'll try and take a picture of it if I can, if I can get the technology after I've done the interviews. I've got the iPad here, so I'll take a picture of it and we'll get it on our Manx Radio Motorsport page. I'm sure they won't mind us putting it. In fact, I'll ask Johnny if I can do that. Johnny, I'm going to take a picture of that and put that on the Motorsport page. You don't mind, dear?
No, that's no problem. Yeah, it's just part of the Isle, man.
Happy enough?
Obviously, yeah. We've come here. We've got 5 top 5s, 4 podiums. It's been a brilliant TT. The weather's been great. Obviously got pushed back to Saturday, but we're now got to get a race and a full senior under our belt.
Pigeon for tea tonight?
No.
Thanks, Johnny. Cheers. Thank you for that. Yeah, and Hickey's here as well. How does this sound? Senior TT winner.
Sounds absolutely epic, doesn't it? No, I've just said on the TV then, just massive thank you to the Gas Monkey Garage by FHO Racing Team. They've done a fantastic job. We actually had a little problem in that race, but just needed to manage the gap once I'd made it.
What was the problem?
I had a couple of things. One was pad knockback, so every time I went for the brakes, I had none, which was a lovely feeling every time you go for the brakes. Just something to manage and think about, and just meant I had to sit up a little bit earlier in a few places and just kind of pump the brake a few times. And then she was not quite running how I'd wanted to run, really, but yeah, she's a bit knackered now after that massive burnout at the end anyway.
I heard that down there. Into Ramsey one lap, you were hot into there one lap too, weren't you? Because of the brakes.
Yeah, just catching me out really with like the first go and there's nothing there, and then second go there was still nothing there. So then, yeah, then you do shit yourself. But yeah,
apologies for the language here on Radio TT. But what about Dean? I mean, what an effort he made. Look at his screen. You've seen all the mess on his bike. That's a mess, isn't it?
Yeah, he must have hit a bird, I'm guessing. On
he's hit a bird. He's hit a bird on there, and the bird's hit him on the side as well. Smashed all the side of the fairing.
Kamikaze birds out there, isn't there?
Talk us through the rest of the race. So no problems apart from those two you're telling us about. Conditions not the best, but we got 6 laps TT under our belts.
Yeah, full 6-lap senior race, which is what we all wanted. The conditions, I think, not brilliant. The first couple of laps are okay. The wind actually seemed to pick up more and more throughout the race. So it's just changing a few things. But overall, obviously, I'm massively happy. And just the last little thing really is obviously my thoughts are with everybody who's not able to go home this week. It's a tough sport for that. We've had a really hard week. There's a massive ups and downs with this thing. We all know that. And we all absolutely love it for all the right and wrong reasons, whichever way you want to look at it. We all know what we're doing here, and a lot of people don't understand us. But yeah, just my thoughts are with everyone.
Absolutely, Pete. We all echo that here at Radio TT. Back to Stephen Lee in the tower.
Yeah, thanks very much, Kin, as well said. Peter Hickman then. So he wins the senior TT, 16.9 seconds clear of Dean Harrison, with Connor Cummins, the Manxman, in third. That's a repeat podium of the 2018 senior TT. Davey Todd, excellent job for him in his third TT. He was fourth. At the moment, at the grandstand, Michael Dunlop registers as 5th place, a minute and 42 down on Davey Todd. James Hillier was 6th, considering the pit stops. That is a very good going indeed. And whilst we mentioned Davey Todd, he gave it a hell of a crack at that final lap. Davey Todd 4th, just missing out on the podium. He's down with Beth.
Just missed out on that podium, but a great race.
Yeah, just missed out. The bike's incredible. The Malenko by Padgett's team have honestly built an incredible bike there. So hats off to them for doing that. And yeah, just unfortunately missed out on the podium, but my teammate Connor's nabbed it.
You got the fastest lap of the race as well. Talk us through the highs and lows.
Oh, did I? Oh, that's pretty cool. Yeah, I tried that last lap. I think honestly, it's probably the first lap I've tried around the TT course. Yeah, I wanted to give it 3 years before I was trying to push or do anything like that. You know, I just wanted to take it as it comes. And to be honest, yeah, just thought the bike was handling great. It was performing awesome, and yeah, I felt like it deserved to be on the podium. So I just dug in a little bit them last couple of laps, the last lap more than ever, and just unfortunately got held up a couple of spots, and yeah, just missed out. But we'll be back.
Pretty windy out there as well. Did that affect you quite a lot?
Yeah, it's honestly hectic. You almost feel like you're riding a bit of the mountain with your eyes closed, because your head's shaking around that much with the wind that it's all a bit of a blur, to be honest. But good job we know where we're going.
Lovely to talk to you, Davey. Look forward to seeing you again next year.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks very much to Beth. Thanks to Davey Todd. Lee, you'll have been in this situation, I'm sure, before. You've had 6 TT podiums, but there will be days where you've gone out, you've given it your all,